Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Issei was Red Electric Dragon Emperor. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. A young woman with black hair, streaked with blue that formed lightning bolts on both sides, and bright yellow eyes ran through the crowd. She was panting but didn't stop, determination shining in her gaze as she focused on reaching her destination, a neighborhood where a certain boy awaited. In another part of the neighborhood, a young boy with brown hair, also featuring blue streaks that mirrored the lightning bolts, hugged his friend tightly. She had chestnut hair and violet eyes, and both of them had tears glistening in their eyes. "I'm going to miss you, Ireina," he said softly. "Me too, Issei," she replied, squeezing him tighter. "Here, I got you this to remember me," he said, presenting her with a necklace that held one half of a broken sword. "Thanks, but isn't it broken?" she asked, wiping her tears. "Yeah, but I have the other half," he said, showing her his own necklace, which featured the matching half of the sword. "With these, we'll know when we see each other again." She looked at the necklace, then back at him, her smile brightening her face as she kissed him gently on the cheek. He blushed, and their parents exchanged warm smiles. "Issei, please don't ever change, and I hope you find your mother." "I'll see you again, that's a promise," Ireina whispered, waving goodbye as she and her parents departed. "Nice one, son. You might just have a harem someday," his dad joked, but his mom silenced him with a playful tap on the head. "What's a harem, Mom?" Issei asked, confused. "You just need to worry about your silly father being silly," she replied with a chuckle. As they walked inside, a woman arrived at their doorstep. She rang the doorbell and waited. When Issei opened the door, he looked shocked. The woman smiled, and he noticed a necklace around her neck that bore a lightning bolt. In a flashback, a younger Issei and Ireina were playing together. Issei wore a necklace with a lightning bolt, and he showed it to Ireina. "What's that?" she asked curiously. "It's a necklace from my mother," the 6-year-old replied. "Oh, what does it represent?" she inquired. "I'm not sure," he admitted. "Maybe it's your family crest, or a super necklace that gives you power, or maybe..." Before she could continue, Issei raised a hand. "It says here you'll know it's me when you see a necklace identical to this your mother," he explained. "Ooh, that's cool. But how can you read that?" "It looks like scribbles," she said. "I don't know, I just can," he said with a shrug. "Whatever, let's go play," she declared, dragging him off. Back in the present, Issei looked at the woman, tears welling in his eyes. "Are you?" he began. "Yes, it's me, Issei. I'm your mother," she said with a gentle smile. He jumped forward and hugged her tightly, tears streaming down his face. "Mom, it's really you," he said, and she smiled softly at him. They walked into the living room, where Issei's parents looked on in surprise. They exchanged glances, a small smile forming on their lips. They had anticipated this day but hadn't expected it to come so soon. "Issei, do you want to go with her?" his mom asked. He nodded, looking away, feeling a mix of emotions. His parents embraced him, and he returned the hug, feeling their warmth. "Remember, you're always welcome here," they said in unison, and he nodded. As he stepped outside to wait, the woman turned to his parents. "Thank you for protecting my son," she said. Miss, what's your name?" they asked. "It's Sarah, and I promise to bring him back to visit when he's older," she assured them, and they nodded, smiling through their tears as she left, grateful they would see their son again. Sarah took Issei's hand, and once they were far enough away, she teleported them to her home. "Issei, this is where you live and train. You're not just human, you're part dragon as well," she explained as 2 dragon wings emerged from her back. He stared in awe, then tried to summon his own wings. To his surprise, smaller wings sprouted from his back. Now he understood why he felt different. He wasn't weird, he was unique. The two spent the day catching up on the 6 years they had missed. His mother learned that he was now 8 and that she had been correct about his age. The next day brought training. She introduced him to his dragon heritage. He was a thunder dragon, capable of controlling thunder, lightning, electronic pulses, and anything related to electricity. "Now, my son, I'll teach you how to control it first," and then we'll move on to advanced techniques later. Let's begin, she said, and thus, Issei's life embarked on its greatest transformation. As an older Issei gazed at his old neighborhood, he smiled at the memories it held, thinking of his hometown, Ku, and the academy he would soon attend, Kuhai. He remembered during his final training stages when his mother suggested he should go to a regular school. Flashback. Issei, dear, I know you've been balancing your studies with training, but wouldn't you like to attend a normal school? His mother asked. I agree, partner. It would benefit you more. A deep voice echoed, though no one was in sight. I know, Drake, but I'm not sure where I'll live, he replied, a hint of annoyance in his voice. Well, if your hometown, Ku, had a high school, you could go there, another voice chimed in while sparring with him. I believe it was an all-girls school, master, Issei pointed out. What's wrong with that? You could be the only boy there. Oh, that would be awesome, an older man exclaimed with a mischievous grin. Zeus, I hope you're not trying to corrupt my son, his mother scolded the old man, making him jump. No, I was just Thor, a little help here, he stammered, looking at a blonde-haired man with a hammer at his side. Well, boy, remember this. Hell hath no wrath like a woman scorned, Thor advised, earning a glare from Sarah. It's okay, it actually turned co-ed a year ago, according to my sister, Rias, a man with red hair and blue eyes said. Ah, thank you for that information, Surzex. We'll be sure to do that favor for you, Issei's mom replied. Thank you. My father is rushing into things and I can't stop him. Thank you so much. Surzex exclaimed in relief. Siscon, Issei's master teased. Now, Spark, that wasn't nice, though it's true, Issei's mom said. Oh, and Issei, watch over my sister, Surzex added as he left, placing a hand on Issei's shoulder before departing. Okay, dear, it's settled. You'll start your first day tomorrow, his mother announced. But Mom, I can't just teleport there. Without raising suspicion, Issei protested. Oh, I've got you covered. I think your other parents deserve a visit, don't they? His mother suggested, and he smiled and nodded. Well then, pack your things and have a great high school experience. Don't forget to visit me, she said, and he nodded. I won't. I've already missed enough time with you, he replied. Go show them who's boss, you brat. Zeus encouraged. Got it, old man, Issei replied. Try to remember these words as well. Hell has nothing on a woman's scorn, Thor added, shuddering. Got it, pretty boy, Issei shot back. And remember to watch out for Azazel, Spark reminded him. Got it. Hopefully he hasn't corrupted a certain someone, or I'll have to deal with him, Issei stated, earning a thumbs up from everyone present before he went to pack. Flashback and he smiled at the memory. He always cherished the time spent with his mom and masters. Now, he was going to see his parents again. He knocked on the door and waited. A girl with brown hair and chocolate eyes, dressed in the academy's uniform and about a year younger, opened it. Can I help you? She asked. Yes. Do Lily and Greg Hyadu still live here? He inquired. Yeah. Mom, Dad, there's some guy here for you, she called out. Okay, Hannah, let them in. Your father's in the bathroom. I'm in the kitchen, their mother responded. Let me show you there, Hannah offered. It's okay, I know where it is, sis, Issei said, passing her. She almost missed it but caught the sis. Sis? She asked, surprised by the term. Hey, Mom. Long time no see. Issei greeted with a smile. When she turned, she dropped the spoon she had been holding. She rushed forward and hugged her son, who embraced her back. Issei, dear. It's so good to see you, she cried. A loud slam echoed as his father entered the room. Issei waved at him, and his dad smiled, joining in on the group hug. His sister stood awkwardly until Issei pulled her into the embrace. And it's nice to meet you, baby sis, he said, and she blushed at the affection. So you're Issei, she stuttered. His parents exchanged smirks at this, but Issei looked confused. He then remembered the reason for his visit. Yup, I'm Issei Storm Hyadu, he stated, surprising his parents by keeping their last name. Oh, and Mom and Dad, I was wondering if I could live here again. Shocked was an understatement. But why? Isn't it going well with your mother? His mom asked. Yes, it's going great, but my mother has kept me on home study, so I wanted to try high school. Ku Academy just went co-ed, so if it's not too much trouble, could I stay here again? He asked. Oh, so that's the only reason? His mom questioned, and his sister glared. No, it's just that I miss you guys. You may not be my parents by blood, but I love you all the same. My mom thought staying here would be good since we've missed out on 8 years of each other's lives, he said, saddened that they thought he was just using them. They saw the sincerity in his eyes and felt guilty. True, it sounded like it, but they shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. He seemed genuinely happy to be there, wearing a real smile. Even his new sister felt remorse for her earlier actions. We're sorry and you're right. Welcome home, Issei, his father said. Thanks. It's good to be home, he replied, and with that, another group hug ensued. That night, Issei was in bed when he heard a knock. Come in, he said. His sister entered, looking nervous. He smiled and sat up, patting his bed. What's up, sis? He asked. I just wanted to introduce myself properly. I'm Hana Lily Hayadu, a second year starting tomorrow at the academy, she said. Ooh, so we're in the same grade. Any tips to help me stay out of trouble? He asked. Many, but first, are you a pervert? She inquired. No. My mother would kill me if I was, he replied quickly, shuddering at the thought. Oh, then a word to the wise. Don't follow Matsuda and Motohama. They are known as the perverted duo, and most people dislike them. Their only dream in life is to sleep with a girl and acquire a harem, his sister explained. Oh, I knew them when I was a kid. One wanted to be a rock star, and the other wanted to be a genius. Guess they took a wrong turn, Issei recalled, remembering the dreams of 2 of his many friends. But then I shouldn't be surprised. Those 2 were pretty much, pardon my French jers, Issei said, annoyance creeping into his tone as he remembered them again. His sister looked at him in surprise. It seemed he already knew that the mischievous duo were trouble. Oh, and just a heads up, there's one girl who might try to get your attention right away, Aika Kiryu. Just be cautious of her, though she hides it well, his sister warned, and he nodded in acknowledgement. That's Harne. See you in the morning, he said, and she smiled back. Yeah, see you in the morning, Issei, she replied as she walked to her room. Time skipped to 5 a.m. An alarm rang in the Hayadu house. Mrs. Hayadu was already awake and wondered who had set it off so early. Sure enough, Issei came downstairs. Morning, Mom, he greeted with a smile. Morning, dear. Why are you up so early? She asked. Oh, I'm going to see if the school is open while I do my morning run, he replied, surprising her. This was a good surprise. It seemed he was focusing on exercising rather than mischief. Hey, dear. When will you be back? She inquired. Who takes a shower around here when I'm not home, and at what time? He asked. Your sister at 6. Why? She asked, worried he might peek. I'll be back around 5:50 so I can take a shower before she does. See you, Mum, he said, dashing out. She waved and smiled as he left. He started his run, slowing down to a more manageable pace. As he ran, he heightened his senses to detect any supernatural beings nearby. He sensed fallen angels, rogue exorcists, angels, devils, and many more. Some were familiar, while others were new. He arrived at the school and checked the time, 5. He had plenty of time. As he walked in, he noticed the Kendo club practicing. He was surprised because he didn't know much about Kendo. Continuing on, he spotted the tennis club in action. He found himself staring at one girl a moment longer, sensing she was not just an ordinary human. Just then, a voice interrupted his thoughts. I've never seen you around here. He turned to see a girl with black hair in a bob cut and glasses perched on her head. She was accompanied by another girl with long black hair, who also wore glasses. Oh, I'm a new student, just checking out the school during my morning run. I'm Issei Hayadu, he introduced himself. You expect me to believe that? She asked sternly. Yes, why wouldn't you? He replied innocently. Because you were watching the Kendo and tennis clubs practice just moments ago, she stated, clearly annoyed at being deceived. What's Kendo and tennis? He asked, genuinely confused. The 2 girls nearly stumbled over their own feet. Oh, You mean the sword club and racket club, right? He clarified. This time, they did stumble. They were amazed at how well he maintained his act. Issei checked the time again. It was 5:30, and he needed to leave. He looked at them only to be met with glares. Hey, can I come back later? I said I'd be home by 5:50, he asked. No, I need to ask you questions, and that'll take all morning, she insisted, her serious gaze startling her. Please let me go back. I'll return around 6:15, I promise. I never lie or break a promise, he said earnestly. This seemed to weigh on the girl. He appeared trustworthy, and there was no deceit in his eyes. She sighed and nodded, adding, Okay, you'd better be back at 6:15 exactly. He nodded and ran off. Time skipped to 6:14 a.m. The girl, Sona, sighed, frustrated with her decision. A minute until 6:15, and he was nowhere to be seen. When the clock struck, she expected no sign of him. But just then he walked in. Hello. I never got your name, miss, he said, looking at her. I'm Sona Shirtorai, student council president, she replied. I'm Tsubaki Shinra, student council vice president, she added. Well, hey, I'm here, so ask what you want, he said. Okay, why didn't you just come in at 6:14? I'm guessing you were outside, she asked. Oh, you said exactly 6:15, and I promised you. I always keep my promises, no matter how strange it may seem, he explained. Sona looked at him and laughed. This was so unusual for her, but she found it endearing that he never went back on his word. Okay then, how about a chess match? She proposed. That would be awesome. I love chess, he replied, and she smiled. Time skipped to 55 minutes later. That's checkmate, Issei declared. Sona and Tsubaki stared at the board in shock. Someone, not just anyone, but a boy, had beaten her in chess. They tried to see if he had cheated with another game, but the result was the same. The bell rang and Issei stood up. Thank you for the match, Sona, but I must get to class. I hope to play more games in the future, he said, leaving the two in awe. Tsubaki, did I just get beaten at chess? She asked, still in disbelief. Yes, you did, and to a human no less, Tsubaki replied, equally astonished. A deal is a deal, but I'll have to tell him later, she said, still shocked. Hey, President, the arriving student council members greeted. I lost a game to a human, but from his aura he may possess a sacred gear, Sona stated, still in disbelief. What? They all exclaimed. Meanwhile, Issei stood outside, waiting for his teacher to call him in. He could hear chatter inside, which suddenly ceased when he was called in. Class, this is our new student, the teacher announced. Nice to meet you. I'm Issei Storm Haidu, and I hope we can all become friends, he said with a smile. All right, any questions for Haidu-kun? The teacher, Ms. Willows, asked. A hand shot up. Are you related to Hannah? A random boy asked. Yeah, I'm her older adopted brother. My true last name is Storm, but I consider the Haidus my second family, he answered honestly, causing the girls to awe at his response. Another hand shot up. Are you single? A girl with pink hair and pink eyes asked. What do you mean, miss? He asked, confused, while the girls swooned at his innocent question. Kates, and do you have a girlfriend is what I mean, she clarified with a smile. Oh, nice to meet you, Kates. And no, I've actually never been on a date in my life, he replied honestly, causing the girls to swoon even more. He's like a prince, one exclaimed. And now we have a prince and princess, another cried. Darn you, a voice from the boys shouted. A hand shot up and Issei nodded. When the face appeared, all conversations ceased as they felt the intense glare and aura directed at that person. Hi Matsuda. Why did another pretty boy like you have to come? He exclaimed, earning an enthusiastic agreement from his friend Motohama. That wasn't a question, and you don't remember me, do you? Issei replied, pulling out his lightning bolt necklace. Oh, no wonder you seemed familiar, Issei my friend, he said, but Issei shot him a quick glare. Friend? More like someone I used to hang out with to look cool. Does that ring a bell? He said, his tone filled with disdain, which sent the others into a panic while the girls swooned over their prince even more. Okay, hi Kun, you're behind Yumi Kiba, she said, pointing to a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes who was smiling at him. Hello, Kiba-kun. It's nice to meet you. You can call me Issei or Issei, he said. Then feel free to call me Yumi, she replied, and they shook hands. Is this the beginning of a prince and princess romance? The girls wondered among themselves. Issei looked confused while Yumi blushed but smiled at him. He returned the smile, causing her to blush again. Time skipped to lunch. Issei sat under a tree, smiling. In his bag were the treats his mother had prepared for his welcome home, especially the apples he had brought with him. They weren't just any apples, they were dragon apples. He bit into one and savored the taste. 1 down, 9 to go. As he ate, he sensed someone staring at him. He turned to see a red-haired girl with aqua eyes watching him. He waved and she blushed. So, you're the sister of Surzex and the one I'm here to help, he thought. Partner, it seems like you found her. Now what? Drake asked. Wait until I'm discovered. It's almost time for the bell to ring. Talk to you later, Drake, Issei thought back as he left. See you, partner. Did you see her? Wow. Drake said. Shut up. And yeah, they were. No, just shut up. Issei blushed and hurried to class. Line break to Rias. Hey Akino, who's that boy? Rias asked a woman with black hair tied in a ponytail with an orange ribbon, violet eyes, and a figure similar to her own. I believe his name is Issei Haidu, brother to Hana Haidu. He's only been here a day, but he was named Prince of Ku and is already paired with Yumi, Akino said, moving her chess piece. Oh well, I get a strange feeling from him. Send Kaneko to watch him. Checkmate, she said as she moved her pawn. Ah, I thought I had you. I'll put up a better fight next time, Akino said, nodding as she left. Time skipped to after school. Issei left school and was surprised to feel the presence he had sensed earlier. He looked around and spotted her sitting on a bench. He walked over and sat down. Chiron, it's been a while. Or do you prefer Kaneko now? He said, making the girl jump and assume a defensive stance. Who are you and how do you know? Kaneko demanded. You forgot your savior? That makes me sad, he said, frowning. Kaneko took a closer look and realized who she thought she would never see again. Flashback. Fire surrounded the little girl. She was hurt, scared, and angry. Her sister had lost control, and now she was a stray devil, considered too dangerous to live. Mom, I found a survivor, a boy called out, and she looked up. He slid down to her and smiled. I'm Issei. What's your name? He asked, but received no reply. That's Chiron, dear, though she seems to not like being called that, his mother answered, earning a glare from Kaneko. Okay, I'll give her a new name if you're okay with it, he said. She thought about it. A new name to begin a new life. Maybe even live. She slowly nodded. Okay, how about Kaneko? He suggested, and she purred at the name. I think you've made a nice choice. All right then, Kaneko, his mom said. Flashback and Issei? She asked, worried it might be a dream. Yup, in the flesh, he said with a smile. She then jumped and hugged him. He patted her back and she smiled. I missed you, she said. Missed you too, Kaneko, he replied. It had been a week since he arrived at the academy. He was popular with the ladies, but Kaneko scared them off. She had been by his side since she recognized him. He made friends with Kates and Murayama, the leaders of the Kendo Club. He also befriended his sister and her friends, including the Princess of Ku, Yumi Kiba, and student council members Sona and Tsubaki. Life was good for him at the moment and he was walking home. Kaneko had to stay with her club, but he understood. He told her he knew that her club and the student council were devil clubs and that he wanted her to keep his abilities a secret until he was ready. She understood and agreed to tell only half the truth. On the day she left, a fallen angel girl stopped him. She had black hair, violet eyes, and a Y on the chest of her shirt. Hi, I'm Yuma Amano. I've seen you at school for a week now and was wondering if you would go on a date with me, she said. He looked her over and then recognized her. Though she seemed not to remember him, he decided to surprise her later. I'd love to, Miss Amano. I'll meet you at the mall tomorrow at 12 p.m., he said, since it was Friday. Sure. I'll see you then, she stammered, blushing as she ran off. He walked home, unaware of a certain white-haired devil nearby. When she caught up, she delivered a playful punch to his ribs. Time skipped to the date. After explaining it to Kenneo, he received a playful punch to the solar plexus. She forgave him after he promised to let her sit on his lap at lunch for a month. As he waited, he smiled, just like Yuma or Reiner, to be late. It was about 15 minutes before she arrived. She came running in a cute sundress, huffing as she looked at him. "Did you wait long?" she asked. "Yeah, but I didn't mind," he replied with a smile. "Don't most guys lie in that situation?" she asked, a little shocked. "Yeah, but you asked me a question, and I never lie unless it's for someone else's safety," he said seriously. She blushed, and he took her arm. They walked around to find the food court. Once they did, Issei got Yuma a cheese and olive pizza. She was surprised that someone had gotten her favorite pizza right off the bat. Then they walked around the mall. He bought her a new dress that he knew she had wanted since childhood. He also got her a bracelet with an angel charm. When he presented it to her, she was so overwhelmed with emotion that she cried and hugged him tightly. They were now in the park at the end of their date. As Yuma arrived, he noticed she seemed a bit down. However, she had truly enjoyed the day, and feelings she hadn't experienced in a long time began to surface. "Thanks, I had fun on the date," she said, her voice filled with sincerity. "Yup, I'm glad you enjoyed it." "Believe it or not, that was my first date ever," he replied, his honesty surprising her. "You did great, thank you." "Can I make a request?" she asked, tears glistening in her eyes. "Sure," he said, still smiling. "Would you allow me to show my true form?" she asked, and he nodded in agreement. In an instant, she transformed, growing black wings and taking on a more striking appearance. Her outfit changed to something bold and confident. "This is the real me, a fallen angel. My true name is," she began, but Issei interrupted her. "Reiner, daughter of Azazel, and the first fallen angel girl to become my friend, Reiner-chan." When he said that, she lost her composure. Tears streamed down her face as memories flooded back. "It's you. I've finally found you," she cried, embracing him tightly. He returned the hug, and she felt an overwhelming joy at being reunited with the boy who had saved her from despair. "Ah, what a touching moment, but you let your guard down," a voice sneered from behind. Reiner looked down in horror to see a hole through Issei. "And oh no, no," she exclaimed as he fell. She clutched him closer, panic rising within her. "No, I found you. Don't you dare leave me or I'll," she struggled to find the words. He smiled at her, but then his body went limp. In that moment, Reiner's world shattered, and a promise echoed in her mind. "I'll always protect you, Reiner," a young Issei's voice rang through her ears. "Oh no, no more fight left? What a pity, Reiner. I expected better from you," the man who had attacked Issei said, wearing a fedora and a trench coat. As he picked her up, he cast one last glance at Issei. Reiner noticed the way his hands were positioned and, in a burst of determination, kicked him. He dropped her, and she rolled away to safety. Meanwhile, Kenneo watched with a heavy heart. Her master and Akino arrived, finding the cat-like girl staring at Issei's body. As they prepared to act, she stopped them. "Hey, mob guy," Issei said, and the fallen angel turned to him. "You made one of the few people who were ever kind to me cry for that," he continued, and as he spoke, a bolt of lightning struck his side, sending him flying back. When he got up, he glared at the man, his eyes filled with determination. "Next time, I'll make sure you regret this," he promised before turning to Reiner. "Now come on, Rei-chan, I never die that easily. Don't worry, we'll save the others," he said, smiling reassuringly. I know, but don't scare me like that. I thought you were gone for good and I just got you back," she said, hugging him tightly. "Kenneo, you can come out now, along with you too, Ria-senpai and Akino-senpai," he called, and they stepped forward. He expected a punch but received a hug instead. He embraced both Reiner and Kenneo tighter, realizing that his fake death had been too much for them. "Ahem, as touching as this is, there is still a fallen angel here," Ria stated. "You don't need to worry, she's with me, And I promise I'll make sure she doesn't cause you any trouble, he assured her. How can I? Rias began, but was interrupted. Bucho, Issei never goes back on his word. Trust me, Kenneo said, surprising her master with her high praise for him. All right then, would you like to join my peerage? Rias asked, and Kenneo looked on hopefully. I'm sorry but no. There are two big reasons, he replied. Which are? Rias inquired. 1. I'm happy with the life I live, and 2. I promised someone long ago that I wouldn't change, he said with a small smile. Wow, you truly do keep your word, Rias said in surprise, nodding in understanding. Well then, would you like to join my club? That offer extends to the fallen angel with you. It would be good cover and benefit both of us, she suggested. Issei thought about it and then turned to Reiner. Is that okay with you, Rei-chan? He asked. She nodded while hugging his arm. Well, okay, we'd love to join. I hope we can build a good friendship during this time, he said, and they all nodded in agreement. Now, if you'll excuse us, I need to take Reiner home. Kenneo, if it's all right with your master, you can come too, he said. Rias was once again surprised, along with Aquino. Kenneo looked at them with a pleading expression. Rias nodded, and Kenneo jumped onto Issei's shoulders. They left, leaving 2 of the 4 great one-isamis in shock. Time skip. Being late, the girls insisted on sleeping over. With a sigh, he took them back home. His parents were surprised but happy to see he had friends, especially female friends, and they were allowed to stay over. His sister went to bed after that, feeling frustrated with Issei. She sensed a strange pull toward him, noticing his habits, how he always ate more and had these peculiar apples. She decided she would find out more about him and planned to follow them the next day when she got a tip-off. Time skipped to the club. All right everyone, I'd like to introduce our newest club member, Rias announced, and they all nodded in acknowledgement. Hello, I'm Issei Storm Hyudu. It's a pleasure to meet you all, and I hope we can all become good friends in the future, Issei said. My, what an introduction. I'm Aquino Himejima, the queen. Please take care of me, she replied with a playful smile. I promise I'll do my best, and in return, please take care of me as well, Aquino-senpai, he said, bowing in courtesy. I'll hold you to that, Issei-kun, Aquino said, resting her chin on her hand. As you know, I'm Yuma Kiba, the knight. A pleasure, Yuma said, bowing respectfully. And I'm Kenneo Tiju, the rook, Kenneo added, from her spot on Issei's lap. And I'm Rias Grammary, the king. We are the Occult Research Club and Devils, she declared, as each member sprouted black bat wings. Kenneo got off him to show it. Hello, devils. I'm Reiner, a fallen angel, but call me Yuma when we're in school, Reiner said in her Yuma form, glaring at them. Now, Reiner, be nice, okay? I host the boosted gear, Issei said. The boosted gear? One of the 13 Longinus sacred gears. Rias asked, surprised. Up. I'll show it to you and introduce you to Drake, the boosted gear, he said as the boosted gear appeared, enveloping his right arm in a flash of red. Hello, devils of the Gremory clan, Drake said. Amazing! And you've already mastered it? Are you sure you don't want to be in my peerage? Rias asked hopefully. No, I'm sorry, but the promise I made won't let me and I haven't mastered it, so to say. I've just learned how to control it, Issei replied. Partner, don't be so modest. You're only one step away from mastering it, though there are other things about the boosted gear, Drake commented. Aquino stepped away to take a phone call. Issei sipped the tea he had been served earlier and smiled at the taste. This is the best tea I've ever had, he said with a smile. Thank you, Aquino replied, returning and blushing at the compliment. Oh, and Bucho, we have a stray devil to deal with tonight at the old warehouse, Aquino said seriously. Okay, hey Yuma, Issei, would you like to come along? Rias asked them. Sure. I'd like to see you guys in action, he said, standing up and gently placing Kenneo on the ground. They conjured a magic circle and left. Meanwhile, a certain human was hyperventilating at the announcement. Her brother was with devils and a fallen angel. To top it off, everything she had seen seemed unreal. Hannah ran to the warehouse. When she arrived, the others had just gotten there. She moved quietly to spy on them and gather evidence. She liked her new brother, but he was hiding more than just being a human with the boosted gear. She had a feeling. Issei and the others walked in, and when Issei caught a whiff of the air, he gagged at the smell, pinching his nose. "I smell something delicious. Is it sweet or sour?" a voice asked as a curvy woman emerged. Issei closed his eyes when he saw she was barely dressed, though he couldn't help but peek. "Pervert," Kenneo said. "Nope. I'm a teenage boy and I'm straight. Even I want to see some skin. All guys think like that. The only ones who don't are either gay, from the church, an angel, or lying. Come on, she's barely dressed. It's not my fault I can't take my eyes off my opponent, or it would mean certain death," Issei explained, glaring at her. "Oh, what I smell as well smells really good," she said, looking at Issei. "Stray devil visor, you have betrayed your master, and for that, you must face the consequences," Rias declared. "Oh, big talk for food. I'll make you the color of your hair." Visor roared, charging at them. "Yuma." Rias called and she nodded, charging as. "Well, Yuma is my light. She's faster than all the other pieces and an expert swordsman," Rias said, and in that moment, one of the stray's arms flew off. "Kenneo," Rias said, receiving a nod. "As the rook, Kenneo is stronger and more defensive than all the other pieces," Rias continued, but then Visor stomped on her. "Too easy." Visor cheered, but then she felt herself being lifted. "Time to fly," Kenneo said, tossing her against the wall. At that moment, Hannah walked in, and what she saw made her scream. Everyone turned to her, and in the chaos, Visor took the chance to attack one last human. Hannah fell to the ground, blood seeping from her stomach. "Kenneo!" Rias cried, receiving a nod from her. "Kenneo is my queen. She possesses the abilities of a bishop, rook, and knight, and she's the ultimate strategist." "I'll make Visor pay for that move," Rias said, noticing Issei's eyes shadowed by his hair. My, you just killed a junior of mine and an innocent. For that, I'll teach you a lesson." A bolt of lightning struck the stray, frying her. Once Kenneo finished, Rias stepped forward. "Wait, Rias-senpai, can I finish her off?" Issei asked in a low growl, receiving a nod. "Stray devil, not only did you kill an innocent, but you also harmed my baby sister. For that, I send you into nothingness," Issei declared, and thunder rained down on her with lightning. She screamed, but his cold look never wavered. When it stopped, all that remained was a pile of ash. Issei rushed over to his sister and hugged her. The others looked on with sad expressions. He then sensed something from her. "Drake, you don't think she has?" he began. "No, that power does feel familiar," Drake replied. "Rias-senpai, could you revive her for me?" Issei asked quickly. "If you do, I'll owe you a favor." "Please, she may have something that could help you," he added. "Very well, I'll do it for you," Rias agreed, stepping forward and pulling out her pawns. She tried too, but it wasn't enough. For still wasn't enough, and finally, she tried 6, and it worked. "I, Rias of the Gremory clan, in the name of our 4 great powers, hereby resurrect you. Live for me and enjoy your new life," Rias proclaimed as a glow surrounded Hannah. What? I'm alive?" she asked, bewildered. "Hannah, thank goodness you're okay. What were you thinking following us? If you had died, I wouldn't know what to do. You're my sister, and even though we've only known each other for a week, I care about you. Don't scare me like that again," Issei said, hugging her tightly. Tears fell as Hannah hugged back, shaken by the experience. "Okay, I'm going to take her home. Kenneo and Yuma, you're welcome to come. I'll bring my sister back to the club tomorrow. See you guys then," he said, leaving with his sister on his back, who clung to him as if her life depended on it. The others watched in awe. The power he had just displayed was incredible, and the way thunder and lightning combined in that moment was beautiful. Kenneo smirked, blushing. She'd love to learn how to do that, and this boy could be her partner. He just keeps getting better and better, Kenneo thought, liking her lips. The next day, the sun shone in Issei's room as he got up, feeling something poke his back. He looked behind him and blushed. Rias was hugging him, and he realized he was also without clothes. Then, to top it off, Rainier and Kenneo were thankfully not there. They would probably have been furious with him. He stared at her face and smiled. So you're the one I'm meant to save. You may act all high and mighty, but your peerage really trusts you, and you trust them. You truly are kind and beautiful, he said as he gently caressed her hair. Rias woke up to that and blushed. No one had ever touched her hair with such a delicate touch. It felt as if he believed it was too fragile to be rough with. Good morning. You do know my hair has never been touched before, Rias said, giggling at his reaction. I'm so sorry. I forgot that girls don't like their hair messed with. Please forgive me, he pleaded, and she felt a pang of sympathy. It's fine really. It was actually nice the way you did it, she said, her cheeks reddening. Okay, let's get ready for school, he said, grabbing his clothes and getting dressed. She did the same, mentioning that she'd take a shower later. They walked down to breakfast. After explaining the situation, Issei made Rias promise never to hypnotize them unless absolutely necessary. They agreed. My son has started a harem. Go, son, his dad exclaimed. No, dear, they're just friends. But if you do, I want 20 grandchildren, his mother added. Issei choked on his food, while Rias, Yuma, Kenneo, and even his sister blushed at that. Time skipped to lunch. It was lunchtime, and Issei decided to eat inside, needing to explain why he and Hannah wouldn't be home until late due to club activities. He also told Hara that he would explain what happened last night at the club, which had worked up his appetite. Hey Issei, Motohama called as he approached. What do you want? Issei glared at them. Well, I was wondering, do you prefer big or small-breasted women? At that question, all conversation stopped. What do you mean? I think I'd care more about personality and happiness before that. Plus, there's more to women than their assets, Issei replied, confused. He truly is a prince, a girl exclaimed, and the others followed suit. Inyu, Haidu, the boys shouted. Hey, get away from him and stop trying to corrupt him, or we'll deal with you, Katie warned. Don't you guys get in enough trouble peeking on us? Do we need to beat you for trying to corrupt him? Murayama added. This scared them off. Issei smiled gratefully at them, and they blushed but smiled back. Hey, Kat-chan Murakuen, he said. Kat-chan. Keites blushed at the nickname. Murakuen? Murayama asked, also blushing. Those are the nicknames I gave you. If you don't like them, I understand, Issei said, looking a little down. No, they're great. I love them, they said in unison, and he smiled. I'm glad, Issei replied, and they chatted while eating lunch. His sister and Yuma joined them. Time skipped to after school. After explaining who they were to Hannah, the research club held a welcoming party for her. Akino glanced at Issei every so often. Akino-senpai, when the time comes, I'll tell you what I am, and you can pick a week when you're free. I'll train you and teach you a few thunder techniques, Issei said while taking a sip of his drink. You sure are alert, she replied. With a smile. Ise is always alert, Kenneo said from his lap. Hey, Kenneo, why are you so comfortable with my brother? Hannah asked, voicing what was on everyone's mind. We're old friends. I knew Kenneo when she was young. Issei smiled at the memory and gently petted her head, making her smile as well. Oh, that's cool. And bro, you said I had a sacred gear like you, his sister asked. Oh yes, okay, let me confirm my test here, he said, sending a harmless bolt of energy at the ceiling. Her eyes glowed blue for a moment before returning to normal. Issei smiled at the discovery, while the others frowned at him. Yuma looked surprised. Ooh, she has that one. Another one of the 13 Longinus. Yuma said in wonder. Yup, it's the mage's tool. Now, sis, focus on one thing you like to wear as jewelry, and then focus on which arm you want it to appear on, Issei instructed in a serious tone. She nodded and did as he said, concentrating on a ring. The ring took form and appeared on her right ring finger, adorned with a magical symbol of an owl. What is the mage's tool? Rias asked. Basically, the tool was created by Merlin to help mages with limited knowledge of magic. It will allow my sister to learn anything related to magic. She'll reach a level that will help her understand the basics. The more she trains in magic and knowledge, the more she'll be able to learn quickly. If she trains enough, she'll master new magic at first sight. Also, it enhances physical abilities and allows the user to take on another gear's ability or abilities when she's close to mastering it, he said, finishing the long explanation and leaving the others in awe. My gear can do this? She asked, astonished. Of course. Merlin had help from a unicorn, Issei replied. Yes, you are right, holder of Drake. I allowed myself in here. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Evangeline, or if that's too long, you can call me Angle. A female voice explained. Ah, so that's what happened to you, Evangeline. Nice to hear from you again, though you were quite the snob. Drake remarked. Evangeline, you are as annoying as ever. No wonder I prefer Albin. She shot back. Hey, play nice, you too. Hannah, introduce yourself back to Angel, Issei said. Oh yes. Sorry. Hello, Evangeline. It's nice to meet you and thank you for your help, Hannah said to her sacred gear. Hello, child. You don't have to say things out loud, just think them to me. It's my pleasure. You seem to be a good young lady. The gear responded. Wow, and the fact that she's a devil doesn't cloud your judgment. I thought you hated devils. Drake said in amazement. 1, I said I hate some devils, and 2, she's a reincarnated devil who didn't have a choice but seems oddly okay with it. Why is that, child? The unicorn asked. Oh, I'm not that freaked out about it. Plus, I owe my brother for saving me when I doubted him, and I actually think I want to give this life a try, Hannah answered, smiling at her response. I like you, child. You take things as they come like I do. I think we'll make a great team. Evangeline said with a smile, and Hannah smiled back. Time skipped to Wednesday. Okay, today you're going to try and get your first contract, Ria said to Hannah. Ah, okay. Is that why I went with Yama-san yesterday? She asked. Yes, you have one tonight, Ria said, handing her a set of contract seals so she could make packs. Okay, how am I going to get there? She asked. We'll transport you from here, but you may have to walk back, Rias answered, and Hannah nodded. As they conjured up the circle, Issei called Hannah over. Hey baby sis. Just wanted to say good luck and here, he said, passing her a ring with a lightning bolt on it. If you get into trouble, just think of me or call, and I'll be there, he said, and she nodded, happy her brother was looking out for her. With that, she stepped into the circle and was teleported away. When she reappeared, she found herself in an apartment. She looked around and was surprised to see a guy with glasses wearing a princess costume. Hello. I'm Morisawa. Where's Kaneko? He asked, wielding a wand. Hello. I'm Hannah, and I came in Kaneko-san's place. So, what do you guys normally do? She asked. Well, I play the damsel in distress and she saves me, he said. Oh, I can't do that, but I can be your sidekick if you want, and I could save you, she offered, and he nodded. Wonderful. Choose an outfit, Hannah-chun, he said, and she nodded, excited to let out her inner nerd. After she played sidekick, they made a pact. He said that he'd make a pact, and so she completed her first job. She walked back, smiling at her success, hugging the latest issue of the manga she liked as her reward. As she walked, she sensed she was being followed. She quickened her pace but was stopped by a man in a familiar trench coat. You know, it's odd to see a girl alone at night, he said. Well, you know us nerds don't like to get caught. Well, bye, she said quickly, trying to leave. Not so fast, devil. Now, where's your master? He asked, and she ran. Oh, you think you can get away? He called as he gave chase. Issei, please get here. I need you, she thought as she ran. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Looking down, she saw an arrow of light embedded in her. She fell to the ground, feeling more arrows pierce her legs, shoulders, and finally her chest. Oh, you're still kicking, the man said in surprise. As he spoke, Hannah looked at her chest, the arrow disappeared, and her wound healed, followed by the others. That gear you have is special. I'll be taking you back. He reached out, but a bolt of lightning stopped him. I wouldn't do that if I were you. It seems my warning was ignored. Now I'm going to send you back in ashes, Issei said, his eyes narrowing. Oh crap, the brat, he exclaimed as Kenneo and Rias walked out. And the girl's master, he added. Issei shot a bolt at him, tearing off his left wing. The man glared at him. I'll be taking my leave. My name is Don Seeker. I pray we don't meet again, he said, tossing a spear at Hana as he left. She cried out in pain. He walked over to her and looked at her wound, placing his hands on her chest. As he did, a memory came to him. Flashback. Master, can we rest now? A young Issei asked. Why are you tired already? Spark asked. No, it's just I'm a little hurt, he said, holding his stomach. Okay, I'll show you what to do when you're hurt like this. Only use it if necessary, his master said, touching his wounds, which then disappeared. And reappeared on him. What? Issei asked, confused. I took your wounds and switched them for no wounds. Thanks to lightning, you can use it to switch wounds to yourself or someone else. When you get really good, you can do it with anything. Just don't use it unless you have to, his master advised, and he nodded. Flashback. And as he completed the transfer, he sighed and smiled at his sister. She was about to call him a pervert, but the wound returned to him. He smiled and collapsed. Issei, are you okay? She asked, tears streaming down her face. I'll be fine. Just need to get something to heal him. And with that he passed out. Rias said she'd heal him, and Hana nodded, worried for her brother. Time skipped to Friday. Issei hadn't woken up yet, and his wounds were still not well. Rias tried to heal him the best she could. They went to school, and Hana's parents called in another sick day. Around noon, he finally woke up. When he did, his wounds had healed. Walking down the street, he greeted his mom since his dad was at work. Hun, are you sure you should be up? You had a fever and didn't wake up often, his mom said. Oh, I'm fine. I think some fresh air will do me good, he replied, giving her a warm hug. Okay, but please be careful and come home soon. Just because you're home from school doesn't mean you can goof off, she reminded him. I promise to be home by 2 o'clock, okay? He assured her, and she nodded. Have fun, she said, waving him off. He decided to explore the town and refresh his memories. He made his way to the park, where fond memories flooded back to him, especially the times he spent playing with Ireina. He also recalled the moment he found Rainer. Although it hadn't gone as planned, he still felt a sense of happiness. Suddenly, he heard a thud next to him. When he looked, he saw a nun on the ground, her belongings scattered around her. I'm so clumsy, she exclaimed, flustered. Hey, do you need help, miss? He asked, extending his hand. Yes, please. I'm new here, and I only speak Japanese, so I'm a bit lost. Wait, do you speak Italian? She asked him. Yes, my name is Issei Storm Hayadu. And you are? He inquired. Oh, where are my manners? I'm Asia Argento, she said, her head covering slipping off, revealing her long blonde hair and bright green eyes. If Issei had to describe her, he would call her cute. He smiled back at her, sensing her innocence and kindness. Well, Asia, I can help you if you'd like, he offered, and she nodded gratefully. Oh, thank you. I'm looking for the church, she explained. Oh, that's easy. I used to go there when it was still in use. Are you sure you want to go? It's in ruins, he cautioned. Weiss, she replied, though doubt flickered in her eyes. As they walked toward the church, he sensed fallen angels and rogue priests nearby. He turned to Asia and said, If you're not sure, you could come with me. Are you sure? She asked, hope shining in her eyes. Yeah, come on, he encouraged, but before he could walk off, someone interrupted him. Asia, you're here. I've been looking for you, a woman with black hair and blue eyes said, stepping forward. She gestured for Asia to follow her back inside. Oh, Weiss, well, goodbye, Issei, Asia said, glancing back. Hey, Asia, remember me. If you ever need me or want to see me, just call my name, and I'll be there as soon as I can, he said, giving her a ring similar to the one he had given Hana. Thank you, she replied, walking inside. With that, he left, making a silent promise to himself. I'll save you one way or another, Asia. You're too pure for death. It was the night after Issei took Asia to the church. He sat down, receiving a lecture from Rias. The other members noticed him pretending to listen, and Rias, frustrated, spoke up. I mean it, Issei, they're dangerous, she insisted. Issei sighed, not in the mood for this conversation. He could sense Rainer's concern. She knew Issei was kind, but if someone insulted a friend or something he held dear, he would react strongly. They're untrustworthy, Rias continued, earning a sharp glare from Issei that made her feel a surge of his power. Look, I understand the church isn't perfect, but let's be clear, don't insult it again, he said firmly, and Rias nodded in agreement. It's the same with you guys. I don't see devils, angels, or fallen angels as better than one another. I appreciate all the factions, and I don't like it when one is insulted. Sorry for snapping at you, Issei admitted sincerely. Rias sighed and hugged him, feeling an inexplicable connection. He returned the embrace, but he could sense the glares from Kenneo, Rainer, and Hannah. Just be more careful. Last night was enough of a scare, she said, recalling the lengths Issei went to save his sister. Okay, I won't stay away from the church, but if it makes you feel better, I'll let you know when I'm heading there. That's a promise, he replied earnestly. Okay, I'm fine with that. Thank you, she said, hugging him tighter. As Kenneo, Rainer, and Hannah glared at Rias, a thought crossed Akino's mind. She wouldn't be surprised if there was something more between them. Time skipped to Saturday night. Tonight, Hannah received her first request, a muscular guy in a magical girl costume claiming to be a woman in a man's body. After that, she moved on to her next appointment. When she arrived, the lights were off. Approaching the front door, she found it ajar. Though she felt uneasy and considered leaving, a foul smell drew her in. She needed to ensure whatever it was wasn't hurt. Inside, the lights were mostly out, except for one that cast an eerie glow. As she stepped forward, she nearly gagged at the sight. A man was pinned to the wall, blood trickling down. What do we have here? A crazed voice echoed from behind her. Turning, she saw a man in priest robes, a gun holstered at his hip and a sword handle in his hand. His white hair and wild eyes radiated madness. Oh, just a girl in the wrong place at the wrong time, he sneered. Who did this? Hannah demanded. Who, me? Of course, he replied without hesitation. But he was an innocent civilian, she retorted, anger rising in her voice. Innocent? He was trying to summon a devil, and since you're here, he succeeded. So he was far from innocent, you filthy devil, the priest said, his bloodlust evident. And now that you're here, I'll kill you and purify this earth a little more, he added, laughing at Hannah's shocked expression. Yes, that look is quite exciting. Allow me to introduce myself before you die. I'm Fried Selzen, and I'll be the last thing you see. He drew his gun and shot her in the leg. She gasped, clutching her injury. Oh, you didn't know? Light is extremely dangerous to your kind. That's why I have light bullets and a light sword to finish you off quickly, Fried taunted, slashing at her and tearing her clothes. Oh, I might just have some fun with you first, he smirked. In that moment, Hannah thought of Issei. Then, a scream interrupted them. The blonde girl Issei had helped the day before. When she saw the body, she fell to the ground in shock. Oh, Asia, you're back already, Fried said, sounding bored. Father Fried, why did you kill this man? And what are you doing to that girl? Asia demanded. That man was summoning a devil, and she's the devil he summoned, so I killed him for his sins, he explained as Hannah backed away, silently calling for Issei. Still, that's not right, Asia protested. You're new, so I'll go easy on you. When you're with us, this is what you'll have to do, Fried said, lunging at Hannah, but Asia stepped in front of her, causing her clothes to tear. I won't let you harm her, even if she's a devil, Asia declared, hugging Hannah tightly and thinking of Issei. All right then, I'll just say you died due to a devil, Fried said, swinging his sword down. Suddenly, a hand shot out and caught his blade. Fried grunted in surprise as Issei appeared, both girls sighing in relief. Issei glared at Fried, then smiled at Asia and his sister. Hey Fried, I see you finally got kicked out of the church, he said. I know you. You're that dragon who told the church I was the one killing all my partners and supported the one who got me kicked out, Fried spat, trying to slice at Issei. Yup, and now you're killing innocent people. I'd like to take you down myself, but someone else already wants to, Issei replied, pushing him back. "Why, you filthy dragon?" Fried screamed, only to be met with a sword parrying his attack. "Sorry, but I'm not letting you get to them," Yuma said with a smirk. "You filthy devils always get in the way." Fried screeched. Rias, Kaneko, and Aquino arrived as well. Seeing the gathering of people, Fried sighed, realizing he wouldn't get a warm welcome if he left without Asia. He charged at her, but was met with a smirk and sent flying through the air. Issei smiled at his sister and Asia, placing a comforting hand on her injured leg. Then he took the wound and transferred it to himself. "Why do you keep doing that? I'm not weak. Do you think I can't handle pain?" Hannah said, furious with him for always intervening. "No, I don't think you're weak, but I don't like seeing you hurt. I've seen what even a small wound can do to people who aren't used to it. So let me do this for now, and when you're stronger, I promise to only do it for major wounds, okay?" Issei replied with a smile, and Hannah sighed, hugging him. "Fine, just don't overuse it," she said, walking toward the circle. Asia said, looking scared. "Hey Asia, how would you like to come home with me?" he asked, and she nodded. Hannah, Asia, and Issei all teleported home. When they arrived, Reiner saw Asia and ran up to hug her, relieved that she was okay. Asia hugged her back. After explaining that she was Reiner's cousin, Asia was allowed to stay. That night, Kaneko playfully punched Issei in the stomach and demanded to sit on his lap for a year for the stunt he pulled. He agreed, just asking for no more gut punches. The next day, everyone woke up and decided to take Reiner and Asia out to relax. Hannah and Kaneko had club duties to attend to, so it was just the three of them. They decided to walk around and went window shopping, admiring jewelry and clothes they might like. Issei looked confused most of the time. He had never seen such things where he lived. He knew about clothes, jewelry, food, and weapons, but that was about it. His mother only came for those necessities, and the sight of video games puzzled him. "Issei, that's a video game. It's basically like a movie, but you play the main character," Asia explained, and he nodded. They walked into a store, and after some deliberation he decided to get an Xbox One along with about 10 games. Being a dragon had its perks. Reiner picked out 5 games, Asia chose 2, and he picked 3. It was lunchtime, so they headed home to drop off their purchases. On the way, they stopped at a burger joint. While Issei and Reiner enjoyed their meals, Asia just stared at hers. Noticing this, Issei showed her how to eat it. She nodded and followed his instructions. After dropping off their things, they went to the park. They watched kids play and relaxed. Suddenly, they saw a boy trip and fall. When Asia noticed, she rushed over, and a green glow enveloped her hands and the boy's wound. Once the glow faded, the wound was healed. Walking back, Issei understood why he felt compelled to protect her. She had the power of twilight healing and a strong connection to dragons because of it. "Wow, Asia-chan, that was amazing," Issei said in awe. "Yeah, hey, do you mind if I tell you guys a story?" she asked, and they shook their heads. "It's about a little girl who had great healing power. One day, she saw an injured puppy and felt sorry for it, so she prayed for the Lord to heal its wounds. When she did, a green glow surrounded the puppy, and it was healed. A church member witnessed this and took the girl to the church, telling her that her gift was from God. They crowned her as a maiden, and she healed sick and injured people, even those on the brink of death. But one day, while walking, she saw a devil wounded in front of the church. Despite him being a devil, she felt compassion and healed him. Unfortunately, another church member saw this too. They took back their words, calling her gift an abomination. "No gift from God should heal a devil or fallen. You are a heretic," they said. And so, she was branded and thrown out, Asia recounted, tears streaming down her face. "Well, I think it's a gift, and you're too pure to be a witch," Issei said with a smile, and Asia hugged him along with Reiner. "Oh, how touching. But let me ruin it," a voice said, revealing itself to be Dawn Seeker. "You really don't listen, do you?" Issei said as his aura intensified. Now, I wouldn't do that unless commanded. Your friends will be filled with holes," Dawn Seeker said, and Issei could feel 50 more auras surrounding them. "Now Asia and Reiner, come with me, and I won't harm your friend. Don't resist or I'll kill him, Dawnseeker said with a smirk. Like how they will. I'll just take you and the exorcist down, Issei said, glaring. But what about all the humans here? He taunted, and Issei cursed under his breath. It's okay, Issei. It was fun being a normal girl for a day, Asia said with a sad smile. I'm glad I got to see you again, Rainier added as they walked toward Dawnseeker. I swear I'll come to rescue you, he said, clenching his fist. They nodded, and then all were gone. Time skipped to the orc building. Slap. Rias slapped Issei hard on the cheek, leaving everyone surprised. Kenneo and Hannah were also a little upset with him. Issei just stood there stunned. No one had ever done that to him. That's for not telling me where you were today and for the foolish idea to attack the church, Rias said. Issei let her words sink in. He was surprised, not just by the slap but by her statement. He had intended to attack the abandoned church that fallen angels occupied. You need to think about the consequences. Attempting this would be like declaring war on heaven, Rias added. You're wrong. I only came here to tell you I'm going with or without your help. I will not break a promise, he said, standing up. Kenneo and Hannah exchanged glances and nodded. Yama looked at her and she nodded back. Rias hoped she wouldn't regret this. Meanwhile, Yama caught up to Kenneo, Hannah, and Issei, who were a mile away. She wanted to know the plan. So what's the plan? She asked. You three keep the others busy, and I'll provide cover. I'll handle most of the rogue exorcists and fallen angels, and I'll make sure Rainier, Middlet, and Calawarner are okay. We'll all work together to save Asia, he said, and they nodded. Once at the church, they hid. No guards were around, so they approached the doors. Issei charged up some lightning and blew the door off its hinges. They flew through the air, swiftly overcoming the 25 exorcists who attempted to ambush them. Issei scanned the area, determined to find Rainier, knowing Asia would likely be nearby as well. He took a deep breath, catching a familiar scent, and headed to the left. As he walked down the hallway, an exorcist tried to block his path. With a surge of energy, he incapacitated the exorcist and continued onward. He soon discovered a metal door. Using his enhanced senses, he detected 3 familiar auras and smiled. Charging up a bolt of lightning, he called out, Hey you 3, you might want to move to the walls. They quickly complied, and he blasted the door open. Hey guys, you miss me? He said as Rainier, Middlet, and Calawarner looked up at him, embracing him in a warm hug. Yes, I see you kept your promise, Middlet said with a playful smirk. Like he always does, Calawarner added, her expression serious. Okay, did anyone see where they took Asia? He asked urgently. Yes, they have a sacred gear extractor hidden underneath the cross in the main room. There's a staircase that leads there, Rainier explained, her voice strained. Here, Issei began, but a hand stopped him. Oh no, you go save Asia while I heal them. Yama and Kenneo will cover me, Hannah said, a green glow emanating from her ring. You learned healing magic? Issei asked, surprised. Yeah, I saw Asia-chan do it earlier, and Evangeline taught me how to use it, Hannah replied. Yes, Issei, leave this to me, the child, the rook, and the knight. You go save the bishop. She deserves that name and your help. Evangeline's voice echoed in his mind, and he nodded in agreement. He dashed back to the main room. Meanwhile, 3 fallen angels approached the left side of the church. An alarm had been tripped, prompting Dawnseeker to send them to investigate. Little did they know, it was a trap. Rias and Aquino waited for them, setting up a barrier as the fallen angels entered. They looked around in surprise, then turned to face the 2 powerful auras before them, Aquino dressed in a shrine maiden robe. Oh great, we're trapped, one of them said, annoyance evident in her voice. How did we fall for this? The black-haired woman with blue eyes muttered. My, it seems we have some fallen angels who are too foolish to waste our time with, Aquino remarked, liking her lips. Looks like you fallen angels need to improve your skills, Rias said with a smirk. Back with Issei, he arrived in the main room only to find Fried waiting for him. Fried glared at him, and Issei returned the gaze with a confident smile. You know, Dragon Kun, it's going to feel really nice to take you down, Fried taunted. Sorry to disappoint, but I've wasted enough time here, Issei replied, unleashing a bolt of electricity that knocked Fried out cold. He then blasted the cross off the staircase. As he descended, he spotted the remaining priests, but his heart sank at the sight of Asia. Don Seeker laughed at Issei's expression. You're too late, I've got what I wanted now, Don Seeker sneered as 2 green rings emerged from Asia. She cried out and slumped over. Back with Rias, one of the fallen angels mocked her. You've come to help that boy? That's too funny. Oh, I remember his promise. Asia, Rainer, I promised to save you, one of the fallen angels mimicked. Too bad that kid won't be able to keep it, another added. And to think he could wound Don Seeker must have been a fluke, the black-haired one scoffed. They suddenly felt the intense aura from Rias. She glared at them, while Kenneo shot them a chilling look. How dare you insult someone who's trying to save an innocent person? He's the only human who keeps his promises and has a pure heart. What you're saying and doing is unforgivable. Rias shouted, her red aura flaring around her. You shouldn't have provoked us. That boy is important to us, and you've made a grave mistake, Kenneo said coldly, thunder crackling around them. The last thing the fallen angels saw was a powerful combination of energy that erased them from existence, their screams echoing in the air. Back with Issei, he rushed to Asia's side, his heart heavy. He flash-stepped to her, cradling her in his arms as he felt her life slipping away. Thank you for being my first friend, she whispered, her eyes losing their light. Just then, the priests and Don Seeker returned. Don Seeker laughed at the sight, oblivious to the surge of energy building within Issei. Oh, this is rich. The big bad kid is hugging his nun friend as she dies, he jeered. Shut your mouth. Issei's voice came out cold, his eyes narrowing dangerously. Before he could finish, all the exorcists fell lifeless, each with a hole burned through them. Hannah and the others arrived to witness the aftermath. You killed her and laughed about it? I'm going to make you pay. Issei roared at Don Seeker. Partner, calm down, Drake urged. But it was too late, Issei's rage had reached its peak. He charged at Don Seeker, passing him by. In the process, Don Seeker's arm was severed. Issei's arm crackled with lightning as he turned back to face Don Seeker, who now trembled in fear. The look in Issei's eyes promised retribution, and Don Seeker realized his life was in jeopardy. He spotted Fried limping away. Fried, help me. If you do, I'll give you anything. Don Seeker pleaded. Really? Okay, give me those 3 fallen angel girls, Fried replied casually. Are you crazy? They're already gone. Don Seeker shouted. Well then you're on your own, Fried said, walking away. I'm a fallen angel. You should beg for my help. Don Seeker yelled in desperation. Oh sorry, but I've seen Dragon Kuan like this, and I know I'll die if I stay. So long. Fried said as he vanished in a flash. Oh, kid, I'll give you anything you want, please. Don Seeker begged. I want you gone, Issei declared, flash-stepping once more. When he stopped, Don Seeker's head flew off, and Issei's lightning-coated hand turned the blood into red mist. Issei, Hannah said softly as he returned to his senses. He didn't respond but instead took the rings from Don Seeker and placed them on Asia. Tears streamed down his face as he mourned. The others watched in silence, their hearts heavy. Rias approached and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. I could save her if you want, Rias offered gently. Please, if you do, I'll owe you another favor. Just please, Issei pleaded, his voice breaking. It startled them that someone with such a strong presence could beg for a life so desperately. Something must have happened in his past to cause this level of anguish. Oh, Issei, I'll bring her back, he said, embracing him in a hug. She felt a blush creep onto her cheeks but hugged him back, a familiar warmth drawing her closer to him. Thank you so much, he said, and she nodded in response. What's her name? Rias asked, placing her bishop piece on the board. Asia Argento, Issei replied. Then I, Rias of the Gremory clan, in the name of our 4 great powers, hereby make you my bishop. May you rejoice in your new life and live for me, Rias declared, and a red glow enveloped Asia. When the glow faded, Asia blinked her eyes open. Upon seeing the group, her eyes widened in surprise. Issei stepped forward and hugged her tightly, a smile lighting up his face. "I'm so glad you're okay, Asia," he said warmly. "Issei-san," Asia stammered, clinging to him and returning the hug. Soon she fell asleep, and they all prepared to head home. Before they left, Issei turned to Rias, Kenneo, and Yama. "I can't thank you enough," he said sincerely. "No need. You've actually made things fun around here," Yama replied with a smile. Your behavior is quite charming," Kenneo teased, causing Issei to shiver slightly but smile nonetheless. "You've been good to us and are our friend, so really we should thank you." "I haven't seen Kaneko so happy, thank you for that," Rias added. "Here, I want to give you these. They may seem like ordinary rings, but they're much more. I may not be the strongest, but if you ever need my help, just call or think of my name and I'll be there as soon as I can," he said, handing each of them a ring adorned with a lightning bolt. "Thank you, Issei," they all said, and he nodded in appreciation. Meanwhile, Issei's real mother, Sarah, observed from afar. "It seems he's been having fun. I'm so glad," she said to Sparks. "Yes, but he just had a rampage, which isn't good. I suggest we send someone he knows who's his age. If this happens again, he'll definitely stop," Sparks replied, sipping his hot chocolate. "How about your student? He just graduated, and they're old friends," she suggested, receiving a nod in agreement. "I'll send him and have him enrolled tomorrow." "See you," he said, disappearing in an instant. "I'm glad to see you found Kaneko, Rainier, Middlet, and Calawarner again, my son. But it seems you're capturing more hearts, and they are working their way into your life even if you don't realize it," Sarah mused to herself as she settled down for the night. Time skipped to Monday. "Okay, class, we have 2 new students today," the teacher announced. "Oh, I hope it's 2 girls," a boy exclaimed. "I heard it's a girl and a boy," a girl chimed in excitedly. "Is it 2? I wonder who the other one is," Issei thought. "You can come in now," the teacher instructed. In walked Asia and a boy with a striking blue, black, and golden hair color scheme. He had violet eyes and an expression that conveyed he was not in the mood for nonsense. "Please introduce yourselves," the teacher prompted. Hello, I'm Asia Argento. Please take care of me," she said shyly. Her aura captivated most of the boys, while the girls felt a protective instinct toward her. "All right, before the next student introduces themselves, does anyone have questions for Asia?" the teacher asked. "Are you a foreigner?" a boy asked, blushing. "Weiss, I'm from Italy," she replied. "Where are you living?" a girl inquired. Issei felt a bead of sweat form. He wasn't prepared for this kind of attention. "Oh, with Issei-san," she said innocently. The class fell silent, all eyes turning to Issei, who was gazing out the window. The girls mentally screamed, "She's so lucky to live with him, he's perfect," while the boys grumbled, "Diminu hau." "Okay, settle down. You can go ahead," the teacher said, motioning to the next student. "My name is Chase Hawkamano. It's nice to meet you all, and I would appreciate it if you'd ask me questions during break or lunch," he said, glancing at Issei, who smiled back despite the glare he received. "Another prince," thought all the girls. "In it, why is it always a pretty boy?" thought all the boys. Normal POV. At lunchtime, Issei and Chase were engaged in conversation. Girls passing by thought it was a bromance of princes, while the guys hoped it was a sign of them coming out of the closet. In reality, they were just catching up on the years. "So, how's it been?" Issei asked, munching on a dragon apple. "Good. I passed my master's test and went traveling for a while," Chase replied. "Cool. Have you seen the others yet?" Issei inquired. "No, I saw one in Rome, the others on a cruise, and the rest haven't shown up," he answered. "How about your dad?" Issei asked with a knowing smirk. "I paid the old pervert a visit, sat down, and had a chat father-son stuff," Chase replied. Cool, Issei nodded. "So, how's it going on your end?" Chase asked, skimming through his book. "Good. As you know, I passed training and met up with my foster parents," Issei replied. "Ah, cool. Anything else?" Chase asked. Yeah, I found out I have a little sister, and I also saw Kaneko, your sister, Middlet, and Calawarner, Issei said. Yeah, how's the cat doing? Still afraid of her power? Chase asked. Yeah, and I don't blame her. I wish she knew the truth, Issei admitted. She will. Anyway, the reason I'm here is because of yesterday, Chase said, marking his book. Oh, so Mom did see and Master, Issei sighed. Yeah, and don't get down. They're worried just like me. You're kind of like a brother to me, even though we're friends and rivals, Chase said with a smile. Yup, that'll never change. Come to the ORC with me later. Rainier is there getting treatment for her wounds. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you again, Issei suggested, and Chase nodded with a smile. They walked back to class. After a few more lessons, school ended, and Issei and Chase made their way to the ORC building. Once inside, they found everyone there, including Calawarner and Middlet. Tomorrow, Calawarner would be a new teacher, and Middlet would be a first-year student. Hey guys, we're here, Issei announced, and everyone looked up. Before Chase could introduce himself, he was tackled by Rainier, who seemed overjoyed to see him. He felt the wind knocked out of him as he fell. Oh, it's so good to see you, Nei-chan, Rainier exclaimed. Wani-chan, stop it. There are people here, Chase said, trying to regain his composure. He dusted himself off. Nice to meet you all. I'm Chase Hawk, or in the human world, Chase Hawk Amino, Chase said. Hello, I'm Rias Gremory. That's Akino Haimajima, Yama Kiba, Hana Hayadu, and... Before she could finish, Kaneko interrupted. Long time, bird brain, Kaneko said with a smirk. Back at you, feline, he replied as he took a seat. Oh, so you know him, Kaneko? Rias asked, surprised. Yes, I knew him when I knew Issei, she said, receiving a nod in response. Okay, so today I want to throw a welcome party for our newest member, Asia, Rias announced. I'll join too, Chase said, earning a nod from Rias. They celebrated and had fun. As they did, Rias remembered Issei's promise from that morning. She smiled at the thought. Hey, Bucho, I promise to make sure you and the others are happy. I swear it. She felt grateful to have someone like Issei in the club. He seemed to bring joy to everyone and made the atmosphere lively, almost making her forget her worries almost. Time skipped to Thursday. The ORC was hanging out in the clubroom. Akino and Rias weren't there yet, so the others decided to chat. So, Asia, how do you feel about being a devil so far? Issei asked her. I'm still unsure how to feel, but I'm grateful that Issei-san and Bucho saved me, she replied, smiling as he gently patted her on the head. Well, as long as I'm around, I promise you'll be happy, Issei assured her, and Asia nodded with a smile. Dude, I've got to say, you're getting soft, Chase remarked while reading his book. Hey, I'm not. Issei protested, and the others laughed. So, bro, do you plan on staying long? Rainier asked hopefully. Yeah, I'll be here for the rest of my high school years, he said, and she smiled happily. Great. I get to hang out with my little brother, she said cheerfully. So, Chasen, why did you decide to come here? Yama inquired. Well, I heard Issei was here along with my sister, so I thought I should join them, Chase explained, and Yama nodded. So, Hana-chan, I see you have the mage's tool, or better known as Merlin's ring. You're pretty lucky, Chase said, admiring it. Yes, but I've only been able to HRNS lightning, light, and healing so far, she replied with a sigh. That's good. You'll just have to practice some more, he encouraged. That's what my Onii-chan says, she said, glancing at Issei. Well, does anyone know when the other two will arrive? Chase asked. Just then, Rias and Akino walked in. They both wore smiles, but Rias seemed a bit down. Okay, everyone, I have some good news, but first, the student council is coming over, Rias announced. The others nodded and prepared themselves. Rias sat down with her peerage behind her. Issei, Chase, and the other fallen angels settled on the couch facing the door, while the girls stood. Sona then walked in with the rest of the student council. Hello, Rias. It's been a while. You too, Issei, Sona said, blushing slightly upon seeing Issei. Kaneko, Asia, Hana, Rainier, Middlet, and Calawarner noticed and either glared or pouted. Yes, hello Sona. I enjoyed our chess match yesterday, we'll have to play again, he said with a warm smile, which she returned, surprising everyone except Tsubaki. Yes, I'd enjoy that. Anyway, I see you have more members, Rias, Sona remarked, glancing at Hana and Asia. Yes, please introduce yourselves, Rias encouraged them, and they nodded. I am Asia Argento, Rias Gremmery's bishop. It's nice to meet you, Asia said. I'm Hana Hayadu, Rias Gremmery's pawn. It's nice to meet you, student council, Hana said, bowing. Yes, it's nice to meet you too. I'm Sona Citri, or as the school knows me, Sona Shirtorai. I'm the king and president of the student council, she introduced herself. Tsubaki Shinra, the queen and vice president, Tsubaki added. Momo Hanakai, I'm a bishop, a girl with white hair and blue-green eyes said. I'm Raya Kasaka, and I'm also a bishop, a girl with red-brown hair and brown eyes introduced herself. Hiya, Ruruko Nimura, and I'm a pawn, a girl with brown hair and green eyes said with a smile. Hi, I'm Saji Genshuru. How many pieces did you take up? I took 4 pawn pieces, a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes asked Issei. Saji, Sona began to caution, but Issei held up his hand. Nice to meet you, Saji. I'm not a piece, and considering I host the boosted gear and have absolute control over electricity, how strong would you say I am? I could show you my power firsthand, Issei said, causing Saji to back away slowly. Saji, you should have the proper respect before picking fights. And what are 4 fallen angels doing here? Sona asked, having only been informed about 3 new students and a new teacher. Sorry Sona, they're with me. I promise they won't cause any trouble, Issei said, glancing at Rainier, Calawarner, and especially Middlet, who smiled innocently. As long as you do your best. Now, what are your names? Sona asked, a slight blush on her cheeks. I'm Middlet Argento in the human world, but my real name is just Middlet, the girl with blonde hair and blue eyes said. Calawarner, Rooks in the human world. Calawarner is my name, the woman with long blue hair and blue eyes introduced herself. I'm Rainier, but in the human world, I'm Yama Amino, Rainier said. Chase Hawk, in public, Chase Hawk Amino, Chase said, glancing over his book. Okay, now that everyone is introduced, I'll let you know the good news. I got us a date to get Asia's and Hana's familiars, Rias said. What a coincidence. I was also going to say the same, Sona replied. Sparks seemed to fly between them. Hey, calm down. Why can't we go together and get them? Issei suggested, surprising them. You know, that's not a bad idea, Rias said. It would allow us to catch up on lost time. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, Sona agreed and walked off. So what's a familiar, anyway? Han asked. Oh, you don't know? Here, let us show you, Rias said, and a girl with bat wings appeared. Oh, I saw her on my date with Rainier, Issei said, and the bat nodded at him. Here's mine, Akino said as an Oni emerged. Yama summoned hers, and it was a hawk. Kaneko let hers out. This is Shiro, Kaneko said as she handed it to Issei. He patted its head and it purred. The other familiars approached as well. After that, they all returned to their masters. What can I say? Animals and familiars just like me, he said, looking at the awestruck faces. Yeah, but mine isn't that fond of you, Chase said as his familiar appeared. It was a bird, but it looked different from any they had seen before. This is mine, her name is Thundra. She's a thunderbird, Chase said as Thundra nuzzled him. What about you, Issei? They asked. Actually, I was going to ask if I could tag along and get one, he said, surprising everyone. The next day, the 2 groups checked with the familiar master to see if it was okay. He agreed, and it was decided, Asia, Hana, Saji Ruruko, Issei, Middlet, and Rainier were going to get their familiars. Calawarner had already gotten hers along with the others. Okay, everyone ready? Rias asked, receiving nods in response. They all teleported to the familiar forest. When they arrived, the sky was a deep red, and the full moon hung high. Issei charged forward, surprising the others. That's not polite. Come on, he said, dragging the familiar master along. Heh, Issei, come on, I wasn't really doing that, the familiar master pleaded. Just stop and let's start already, Chase said in annoyance. Oh, Chase, good to see you again, and the Gremory and Citri groups, he said as he was released. What? You know them? Rias asked, and the others looked on in surprise. Yup, before I became the familiar master, I hung out with those guys, he replied. Now then, Issei, I know you need one. Do you have anything in mind? The familiar master asked. Yeah, but that can wait. Help Asia, Hannah, Milolt, Reiner, Saji, and Ruruko first, he said. Ah, a bunch of cute girls and you, he said, making Asia nervous while the other girls frowned, and Saji fumed at the and you. Okay, any requests? He asked. I'd like to find a cute one, Asia said, and Hannah, Milolt, Reiner, and Ruruko nodded in agreement. I'd like a cool one, Saji said. Okay then, cute ones for you all and a cool one for you, the familiar master said. Hey, be nice or I'll get mine first, Issei warned. Oh, I'm so scared. You don't mean, he paused and asked. Yup, let's hurry, I'm pumped for this, Issei said, and Chase got some popcorn ready. Okay, some cute ones and a cool one, let's go, the familiar master said. They walked to a garden first. When they got there, they saw fairies playing as well as pixies and a few gnomes who were napping. A pixie has a kind aura and can heal you when you need help, the familiar master explained. Oh, I'd like one, Milolt said. Are you sure? They can be mischievous, he warned her. That sounds like my familiar, Milolt replied confidently. Okay, just walk up and ask it, the master instructed. She walked over, scaring all but the pixies. They looked at her curiously. She seemed innocent, but appearances could be deceiving. Hey, I'm Milolt, and I'd like to know if any of you would be my familiar, she asked. Why should we? One pixie replied, and the others took this chance to leave. Well, if you do, I'll let you help me pull pranks and promise a fun life, Milolt answered with a smirk, which the pixie matched. Deal, the pixie said, and Milolt made her familiar. The others who knew her dreaded the moment the pranks would begin. They then moved on to a clearing filled with rabbits, deer, and in the center, a wolf. Well, there are cute and strong ones here. That wolf is a dire wolf. They are like werewolves but bigger and stronger, the master explained. I think I want the wolf, Saji said. No, sorry, but that wolf only likes females. I suggest one of you ladies, the master said. I'll try. How do I do it? Reiner asked. You have to show it respect and ask as though it were royalty, okay? The master instructed, and she nodded. She walked out, and the other creatures ran. The wolf growled at her but stopped as it saw her bow. It then became more curious than defensive. Hello, my name is Reiner, and your name is? She asked. I am Dawn of the Fong clan. And you, what creature are you? The white wolf, Doneth. I'm a fallen angel, born as one. I'm the daughter of the governor, Reiner answered, relieved that she was out of hearing range for those who didn't know. Well, why have you approached me? Dawn inquired. I would like to offer you a contract to be my familiar. I'd be honored if you agreed, Reiner said. I would be honored, Miss Reiner. Dawn replied and became Reiner's familiar. They continued to the pond, where dragonflies hovered above it, as well as a selkie. What's that? Ruruko asked. That's a selkie, or better known as a sea lion, the master explained. Oh, so how would you get one? Ruruko asked. Well, you'd have to ask it and prove to it that you are worthy, the master said, and Ruruko walked forward. She approached it, and it looked her up and down. She then placed a hand on its head, which it accepted, surprising the others, though Issei and Chase smiled. After that, she made it her familiar. Seems you're good. With familiars, Chase said. Well, he said to show it your worth, and I don't know if I'm worthy of its trust. After that, it said it wanted to come with me, she replied. Good job, Ruruko, Sona praised. Yeah, that was awesome, Saji added, and she blushed, while Momo shot her a glare. Okay, other cute ones come out later, the master said. Okay, how about we get mine? Issei suggested. So what do you have in mind? The master asked, though he already had an idea. Well, where's your strongest familiar? Issei asked, shocking them all. You wouldn't happen to mean? The master asked, sweating nervously. Yup, so tell me where the Chaos Karma Dragon King Tiamat is, Issei said, freezing everyone who knew the name. Are you? Before the master could finish, Chase spoke up. Gil, either you tell him, or he's just going to find her himself, Chase said, popping popcorn. Right, follow me, Gil said, and they followed. They walked for a while, passing various creatures. When they stopped, they were hiding in front of a cave. Now, don't. Before Gil could finish, Issei was already walking forward. Partner, are you sure this is a good idea? Me and Tiamat don't have a good history. Drake cautioned. Yes, but I'm going to fix that, and besides, we don't, Issei replied, getting a sigh in response. Hey Tiamat, get out here. Issei called and rumbling was heard. Who dares interrupt my slumber? She roared back. Issei storm Hayudu. Issei declared. Then emerged a blue snout. It sniffed and then growled as it came out of its cave. It was a massive blue western dragon. She looked at Issei and growled. What is it you want? She asked. I want a spar, and no matter if I win or lose, I want you to become my familiar, Issei said, dead serious. Hee, or impress me in this spar, and I'll be your familiar, she replied. Deal. Ladies first, he said, getting into a stance. I like you already, she said as she charged. Issei stepped to the right and shot a bolt at the dragon. He then jumped up and aimed a punch at her head, but she knocked him away with her tail. Nice blow. Why do I smell drag on you? She asked. Well, thank you. Not too bad yourself. I'm the host of Drag, he replied. You're the host of Drag? She growled. Yes, and I know about your history. I apologize that he never kept his promise, but don't worry, I've taught him a lesson about breaking promises, he said, noticing a blush forming on the dragon's face. Now then, let's have fun, he added. Maybe another time. You impressed me, master, she said, reverting to her human form. Now standing before him was a girl with long blue hair and silver eyes. She was unclothed, causing Issei and Chase to cover their eyes, while Saji and Gil couldn't help but drool. Hey, now that I look at you, you're kind of cute, Tiamat said, blushing at Issei. Sure, put this on, Issei stammered, handing her his coat, which she took. Meanwhile, Saji had bumped into a snake. It transformed into a woman with long green hair and purple eyes. He called her attractive, and the snake blushed. When he asked her to become his familiar, she agreed. They were now walking around, looking for Hannah's and Asia's familiars. They came across an elf on the ground, who seemed to have gotten into a fight. Hannah walked forward and healed her. Hey, Angel, what happened to you? Gil asked. The stupid dark elves. Anyway, miss, thank you for your help. If you'd like anything, please ask, she replied to Hannah. Hey, Angel, you seem like the odd one out, huh? Hannah asked, surprising the others. Weiss, I'm not like the others, the elf said sadly. Well then, how about you become my familiar? I know just how you feel, Hannah offered. I'd like that, the elf replied, and with that she joined Asia. It was close to night, and they were walking in the forest. As they walked, they saw creatures settling down to sleep. They began to worry, but then they spotted a little blue dragon. Oh, that's a spirit dragon. When grown up, they are extremely dangerous, Gil said as it looked at Issei and Asia. Suddenly, a green substance fell from above, landing on the girls. When everyone thought nothing would happen, their clothes started to dissolve. What's going on? Asia asked. That green slime isn't dangerous at all, though it does dissolve cloth, Gil said with a smile, alongside Saji. Kenneo tried to fight it, along with Yuma and the other girls, but it proved useless. Asia screamed, and then the slime disappeared. A buzzing sound shot at the slime, also zapping Gil and Saji. It seems he likes you, Asia, Issei said, absorbing the lightning. Chase nodded as he also absorbed it. The spirit dragon looked at them in awe. With that, their adventure in the spirit realm ended, but it marked the beginning of a new problem. A few days later, after they had gotten their familiars, Issei was asleep, enjoying a nice dream. However, something soft against his back woke him. He turned to see Tiamat in her human form, hugging him from behind. Tiamat, what are you doing? He whispered, startled. Sleeping. Now shut up and rest. It's Saturday, she said, pulling him closer. Tiamat, he whimpered. Oh, is the little dragon not used to this? Well, there's more reason to do it then, Tiamat said with a smirk. The door suddenly flew open. Rainier, Hannah, Millot, and Calawarner glared at her. Asia looked ready to cry, while Chase just smirked as he approached Issei. Hey Chase, a little help? Issei pleaded. Nope, I'm not getting involved in your predicament, Chase said, walking away. Issei, the group of girls cried, a mix of anger and sadness in their voices. After sorting out the situation, Issei went downstairs to eat. His dad kept saying, yes, my harem dream will live on through you. His mother playfully smashed his father's head and smiled at Issei. She would say, remember, at least 20 grandchildren. The girls just blushed at the comment. They decided to relax and went to school to celebrate their recent victories. When they arrived, Rias seemed deep in thought. She kicked off the party, and they began to celebrate. So, bro, I've been meaning to ask, how's mom doing? Rainier asked. She's doing fine. She misses dad sometimes, and other times it feels like she wants to shock him to ashes, Chase replied. Sounds like mom, Rainier said, and the others all sweat dropped. Well, she also misses you, but she knows you were always a daddy's girl. I think you should visit her soon, Chase suggested, munching on a pig in a blanket. I will. I really miss her and have to show her my awesome familiar, Dawn, Rainier said, glancing at her familiar, who was eating. It would be an honor to meet your mother, Miss Rainier, Dawn said with a smile. She was in her human form, with long white hair and blue eyes. So, Hannah-chan, I heard you have Merlin's ring. I could train you in magic if you want, Angel said, eating a piece of cake. Yes, and thank you, Angel-chan. Is there anything else you know? Hannah asked. Yeah, I'm a good archer and could teach you how to use a bow and arrow, the elf replied. Sure. I'm glad you decided to come with me, Hannah said. And me too, Angel said, blushing as she hid her green eyes behind her brown hair. So, Tiamat, I heard you and Issei slept together, Aquino said. Issei did a spit take, and Chase started to laugh. The girls, except for the familiars, turned to Issei, who was gasping for air and blushing. So, how was he? Rainier asked, her cheeks flushed. Oh, he was good, Tiamat replied, and the girls looked ready to pounce. Aquino laughed at the scene. Yumi sighed and held her princess aura. Issei, is that true? Hannah asked, her voice laced with anger. Issei-san, I wanted to be first. Asia exclaimed, surprising everyone. No, I swear we did nothing. She just climbed into my bed without any clothes on, and I was still in my shorts. Issei explained, panic rising in his voice as he feared for his life. Is that true? The girls asked, excluding the familiars and Aquino. Yeah, I can vouch for him. He always tells the truth, Chase said, and Issei silently thanked him for saving his skin. Anyway, let's get back to the party, Issei suggested, and they all returned to the festivities. As night fell, Issei managed to convince Tiamat and the other girls to leave him alone for the evening. He lay in bed, reflecting on the look of sadness on Rias's face. He could guess the reason behind it, as the promise he made to her came rushing back to him. Flashback. When he was 10, Issei walked with his mother to the underworld. She had some business to attend to, and they arrived at a large manor. He was told to wait or explore while she handled her affairs. Issei wandered around, playing a game of stealth, trying to avoid the maids and butlers. He was never caught, even when he played pranks on them. However, one maid proved to be quite the challenge and almost discovered him. He jumped into a room, only to see silver hair and striking silver eyes. He hid as she walked past, but just as he was about to leave, a voice stopped him. Who are you and why are you here? A familiar girl with red hair and blue-green eyes asked. It was a young Rias. Ah man, I lost, Issei admitted. Lost what? Young Rias asked, her curiosity piqued. I was playing a game where I tried not to get caught, but you found me and won. Darn it, he said, feigning disappointment. Hee, she laughed at his response, amused to think that this boy was just playing a game. And I'm here because my mom has business. My name is Issei, by the way, he introduced himself, and she smiled. I'm Rias, a high-class devil, she said confidently. Awesome. I'm a thunder dragon, he replied. Why you're a thunder dragon? Will you join my peerage? She asked eagerly. Sorry, but no. I promised someone I would never change, and I also like the life I live now, he explained. Oh, Rias said, looking a bit down. But I can be your best friend, he offered, and Rias hugged him tightly, nodding in agreement. They then walked to the dining room, both feeling hungry. Rias said she would ask for food. Upon arrival, they were met with an upset Issei's mother and a cowering Lord and Lady Gremory, who stopped when they noticed the children. Hey Mum, I made a new friend. Her name is Rias, and she's a high-class devil. Issei exclaimed, and Rias blushed. Mother and father, he's also a thunder dragon, Rias added, her eyes wide with admiration. Issei, dear, do you like Rias? His mother asked. She's awesome and kind, and I want to come over again, he said, and his mother smiled softly. All right then, Lady and Lord Gremory, please refrain from acting like this in the future. You're lucky my son enjoys being here, she said, standing up. Hey, Mom, can we eat before we go? Issei asked, with Rias hugging his arm to support his request. Yes, we can, dear, if the Lord and Lady are okay with it, his mother replied, returning to her usual demeanor. Oh, sorry. I didn't introduce myself yet, Lord and Lady Gremory. I'm Issei Storm. It's nice to meet you, he said, and they smiled back. Ah yes, Miss Storm, it's nice to meet you, Rias Gremory, Rias said, her cheeks still a bit flushed. It's nice to meet you, the adults replied. Time skip, 6 months later. Issei was on his way to play with Rias again. He had improved his powers after 2 years of training. As he approached, he noticed Rias looking sad. He rushed over to her. Rias, what's wrong? He asked, concern etched on his face. I'm just sad because my Oni-chan is gone, Rias admitted. And? He pressed, sensing there was more. And what? She asked, though she seemed nervous. Don't lie, Rias. What's really wrong? He insisted. I found out that when I'm older, my marriage will be chosen for me, and I have to agree, she confessed, tears welling in her eyes. Issei hugged her tightly, and she returned the embrace. Rias, I promise you 2 things, he said, looking into her eyes. She nodded, eager to hear. As long as I'm around, I promise you'll be happy, and when we grow up, I'll marry you, he said, a blush creeping onto his cheeks. Rias blushed in response and kissed his cheek. Oh, Issei, please keep that promise, even if I forget, she said, and he nodded earnestly. Flashbackins. Issei was pulled from his thoughts by a flash. He looked up to see a nervous-looking Rias approaching him. Issei, can I call in one of the favors? Rias asked. Sure, he replied, sitting up. Sleep with me, she said, her voice soft as she began to undress. What? Are you sure? He stammered. Yes, please, she insisted, but her eyes conveyed something deeper. No, he said, surprising her. What? Am I not good enough? She asked, her anger flaring. If I wanted to be NTMT with someone, I would want them to be completely in control of themselves, he said, snapping her out of her current mindset. Why, you're right, she admitted, sitting down when he patted his bed. Look, tell me what's wrong. When I get back, I'm going to get something to cheer you up, he said, handing her his blanket. She inhaled its scent and smiled. When he returned, he had a tray of chocolate chip and mint cookies, along with hot chocolate and chocolate milk. Here, he said, handing her the hot chocolate. He placed the milk next to her and set the tray on her lap. She took a sip of the hot cocoa and smiled, noticing the cream in it. This is good, thank you, she said, dipping a cookie into the milk. I had a feeling you had a sweet tooth like me. Now, what's wrong? He asked, and she nodded. I'm being forced to marry someone I don't love, she confessed, and his expression darkened. No matter how much I try to stop it, it will still happen, even when I was promised I'd be free until I graduated college, Rias continued, tears streaming down her face. At that moment, Issei's fangs peeked out from his mouth as he hugged her tightly, waiting for her to calm down. A gray flash appeared, and a woman with silver hair and eyes stepped forward. It seems I made it just in time, Rias. You can't give yourself to some lowly human. But when she saw Issei's expression, she paused. The intensity radiating from him made it hard to breathe, and he wore a fierce look. He turned to her and glared, but the expression softened when he recognized her. Oh, it's you, Grafia. I thought it would be someone else, Issei said. No, I was sent. Please hand over Rias, she replied, a hint of fear in her voice. No, I don't think so. She'll be at school tomorrow, but she's staying here tonight. Is that okay with you, Rias? He asked, glancing at her. She nodded in agreement, and he turned back to Grafia. Very well, I will see you tomorrow, she said before leaving. Thank you, Issei. I can't quite put my finger on it, but being with you makes me so happy, Rias said, smiling. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Now, let's get some sleep, Issei replied, and they drifted off. Time skipped to the club room. When Issei woke up, Rias was still there. He gently roused her and let the girls take their shower. He called Chase, asking him to keep Rainier and the others at bay, mentioning he might need Chase to help manage his temper. They made their way to the club room, where they found Kenneo, Yuma, and Grafia waiting. Rias, I think I should explain, Grafia began, but a hand from Rias stopped her. No, I'll tell them, Rias said as an orange magic symbol appeared. When it faded, a blonde-haired man with blue eyes stepped out, exuding an air of arrogance in his playboy-like outfit. Ah, my Rias. I've come to the human world to pay you a visit, he announced. Who is that? Hannah asked, looking apprehensive. That is Riser Phoenix, Rias's fiancée, Grafia explained. Ah, the tea prepared by Rias's queen is delightful, Riser remarked. Thank you for the compliment, Kenneo said, forcing a smile as she stepped away. Riser then placed his hand on Rias's leg, squeezing it as he savored his tea. Issei's aura shifted, and the others noticed him clenching his fists. Enough, Riser. I'm not going to marry you, Rias declared firmly. But your family situation is dire, and you can't ignore it, he countered. I'm not going to bring shame to my family, and if marriage is the way to keep my house alive, I'll do it, she replied. Excellent, Riser said smugly. But I will not marry you. If I do, it will be with someone I love, Rias insisted quickly. You know Surzex and Lord Gremory arranged this because pure-blooded devils are few in number, Riser said. My father and brother are rushing into things. For the last time, I will not marry you, Rias stated firmly. No, Rias, for the last time, you will marry me. I have a reputation to uphold. I came to this world to claim you, even if I have to eliminate all your servants to do so, Riser threatened, flames flickering around him. Now, I will not tolerate this any longer. If you continue, I will intervene, Grafia warned, her aura flaring. Right, sorry, Rias said, looking down. I do not wish to fight the strongest queen, so I apologize as well, Riser said, backing down slightly. Your brother foresaw this, Rias, and decided to make an out. If you beat Riser in a rating game, the marriage is off, Grafia explained. A rating game? Rias asked, surprised. It will be unofficial but broadcast throughout the underworld, Grafia clarified. All right, Rias, Before Riser could finish, Rias interjected. I'll do it, Rias said firmly. All right, I'll give you a week to practice, and Riser began, but was cut off again. Hey, we both know she needs more time, or are you just hoping to win by luck? Issei challenged, and Chase nodded in agreement. Quiet, you lowly human. And you, fallen angel, be gone. Riser retorted arrogantly. Can I take him down yet? Issei asked, his aura intensifying, catching Riser off guard. Look, Riser, I'd advise you not to provoke him. He's more powerful than you realize. I agree, give Rias a month. She's never been in a rating game, Grafia advised. Very well, I will allow a month of training, Riser conceded. I'll report this to Surzex and take my leave. Farewell, Grafia said before departing. So, Rias, is this your peerage, minus the human and fallen? That's good. Let me show you mine, Riser said, snapping his fingers. 15 girls appeared, standing in a row. Some were twins, while others were polar opposites. Issei's anger flared as he realized they were merely Riser's playthings. The girls looked on in disgust. "This is my peerage," Riser boasted. "You're sick, you have your sister among them," Issei said, appalled. "You there, keep your mouth shut, Mira," Riser commanded, and a girl with blue hair in pigtails rushed at Issei. Chase intercepted her strike and sent her back. "You know it wasn't wise to do that. You're a guest, Riser Phoenix, act like one," Chase reprimanded. "Shut it, Fallen." Riser snapped, then walked over to kiss the purple-haired girl from his peerage. "Well, I'll take my leave. See you in a month, Rias," Riser said, and they vanished. "So, Rias, what's the plan?" Aquino asked. "Issei, I'd like to use my last favor," Rias said, and he nodded. "I'd like you to train us," she requested, and he agreed. It was around 8 a.m. when the Gremory group woke up. They were instructed to pack for a month as planned and waited for Issei and the others. By 10 o'clock, everyone had arrived. "Okay, Rias is letting us train at her family's country house." "Thanks for that," he said, and she smiled in response. "Really awesome." "Thanks, Rias," Hannah exclaimed, and the others echoed her. "Gratitude." "All right, it's exactly 50 miles north, so I'll teleport you when we're 10 miles away," Issei said, a lightning bolt symbol appearing. Why does yours look different from Rias's?" Hannah asked, and Asia nodded in agreement. Issei blushed at Asia's cuteness. "Well, it's mine. My family crest is a lightning bolt," he explained, and they nodded in understanding. With that, they prepared to teleport, but were halted by a collective shout. They turned to see the Citri group running toward them. Once they arrived, Sona spoke up. "Can we come too and have you train us as well?" Sona panted. "If Rias is okay with it, then yes," Issei replied. "Well, Rias, what do you say?" Sona asked. "I don't mind, it may benefit both of us," Rias said, receiving a nod from Sona. "Very well," Sona said, smiling. "Okay, everyone in. I can only bring you if you're in my circle," Issei instructed, and they all nodded. Once everyone was in, they were enveloped in a blinding white light. Only Aquino, Issei, Chase, and Kaneko remained unaffected. When the light faded, those who had been blinded found themselves in a mountainous area, with a village visible in the distance. Further down about a mile was the Gremory estate. They all smiled at the beautiful scenery. "Okay, now for the first part of your training here," Issei said, grabbing all the luggage. The girls smiled at how much of a gentleman he was. However, Rainier grew worried when she noticed the smirk on Chase's face. "Okay, I'll carry the luggage with Chase. The rest can handle the rest," he said, tossing down weights and backpacks. What are those?" Saji asked nervously. "Well, you see, for the first part we're going to improve your endurance and speed, so I brought weights and backpacks for all of you," Issei explained. Issei, you're not wearing any," Rainier pointed out, annoyed. "Of course I am. Why would I not?" he asked innocently, causing all but Saji, Chase, and the two girls competing for Saji's heart to blush at his innocence. Asia felt guilty for doubting him. "Okay, let's get to it. Here's yours," he said, handing Saji a backpack that weighed 160 pounds, along with weights that were 100 pounds. Saji paled at this as Chase handed out the others, which were heavier than his, and he sighed sadly. "Don't worry, Saji. I'm sure by the end of this, you'll be able to carry twice as much," Momo encouraged, earning a glare from her love rival. "Thanks, Momo. I feel better. Let's go," Saji said, determined. As they started, they were surprised to see the luggage levitating. They turned to see Chase and Issei with bags slightly larger than Kaneko's. Their eyes were closed, deep in thought. If only they knew how they had been trained like Kaneko and the fallen angels, they would have been more alert than ever. It was 8 miles in, and the two were sweating. The luggage was lower but still high enough to let people pass by. Issei, Chase, Kaneko, Saji, and Yumi were all in front, while Sona, Rias, Tsubaki, Aquino, Rainier, Calawarner, and Asia followed behind. The rest were sweating bullets in the back. They arrived at the manor, and Issei and Chase dropped the luggage by the front door, panting and sweating. Kaneko was also panting alongside Yumi. The others were on the ground, groaning and panting, though Akino managed to sit up with Rias, Sona, and Tsubaki. Okay, everyone rest, then I'll choose who will accompany me to the store, Issei announced, prompting groans from the group. Essie, it's so great to see you. Did you miss me? A young woman asked as she pulled him into an embrace that rivaled Akino's. She had golden blonde hair and pink eyes, with fox ears sticking out from her head. It's nice to see you too, but Kasai, I can't breathe, Issei said, and she let him go. So you called me here for a reason? Kasai asked playfully, and Issei blushed. Back off, he's mine, Kaneko said, hugging Issei and surprising everyone. Oh ho, so little Miss Cat thinks she's taking my mate, Kasai teased, flaring her aura. He's my mate, Kitsune, Kaneko hissed, glaring at her. Okay, that's enough. Calm yourselves. If anyone is to have Issei, it's me, a woman with orange hair and red eyes said in a calm manner, her Russian accent evident. You stay out of this, Selena, Kasai growled. He's mine. The girls vying for Issei's heart exclaimed, even Tiamat joined in. Seems you still have lady troubles, Issei, while Chase here has none. Same old, a familiar voice said. Master, it's good to see you, Issei said happily. Master Spark, long time no see, Chase added with a smile. Uncle, you seem well, Rainier said, shocking the group who didn't know this. Yes, hello Rainier. Hope you're keeping that father of yours in check. And Chase, your training's done. Call me uncle please, Spark said in a stern tone. Spark-sama, forgive our behavior, Millet and Calawarner said as they bowed. Don't bow, Millet, Calawarner. I may be the head of a faction, but that doesn't mean I want you to bow to me, Spark said in a carefree tone. Wait, you lead a faction? Sona asked, surprised. Yes, sister of Sarah Fall. I'm the leader of the Thunderbird faction, Sparks Flash, he replied, causing Sona to jump in surprise. Why you're the leader of the faction that allies itself with the fallen angels? She asked, and all devils but Kaneko, Asia, and Hannah got into a fighting stance. Why yes, I'm the ally of the Sparks tried to say but faltered. Well, technically yes he is. To reintroduce ourselves, I'm Chase Hawk, son of Frey Flash and Azazel, the governor of the fallen angels, Chase said. And I'm Rainier, daughter of Frey Flash and Azazel, Rainier added. And for the record, my sister married that pervert when she was young and in love with him, but it seems no matter how perverted he is, Sparks said, sulking. There, Sparks-senpai, Asia said, and the others sweat dropped. Okay, Sparks, stop giving Azazel a bad reputation. He already has a pretty bad one, a woman with black and blue hair and red eyes said. Hey Mom, thanks for coming, Chase said, and she smiled at him. No problem. I wanted to see my two adorable children again, she said as she hugged Chase. He hugged back, happy to see his mother again. Rainier asked, her eyes tearing up. Hello, Rainier. I missed you. How have you been? Frizz. I've been good, Mom. I missed you so much, Rainier exclaimed as her mother hugged her back. Well, now that that's over, you all rest up. I have to go get dinner's ingredients, Issei said. I'll go with you, Kaneko said, beating everyone to the punch. She sat on his shoulders and made an onward gesture, looking back to stick her tongue out at the glaring women. Then, she did something that annoyed all her rivals. She kissed Issei on the neck, leaving a mark to signify her territory. Sit, she mouthed, and killing intent focused on her. Rias then grabbed one arm, and Rainier grabbed the other. All three glared at each other, and Issei nervously prayed they wouldn't notice this. His prayer was answered when a massive amount of aura shot at the three, freezing them. They turned to the former Dragon King, Tiamat. They all looked at each other and nodded, then said in unison, "SCK it." Before leaving the others frustrated. Even Asia was mad, while Chase backed up slowly, hoping no blood would be shed. As they walked, Issei sensed familiar presences. It was Kates and Murayama. They seemed to be here for the weekend. Issei set Kaneko down, much to her disappointment, and walked over to them. He then sensed something following them. "Hey, Kat-chan, Mura-chan, you're here too," Issei said. They turned to him, their cheeks flushed, but smiles on their faces. Yeah, we were invited here for a free trip, expenses paid, and a whole weekend by some game, Kate said. Oh, so you both applied for it? He asked, already having an idea. Actually, neither of us did, but whatever, it's a free trip, Murayama squealed excitedly. Hee hee, well, see you later, he said as they walked away. The presence we felt had the intent to kill, Dryag warned. Yeah, I felt it too, Kenneo said, shivering slightly. Rice, let's go save them. I just hope we aren't too late, Issei said, and they nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, with Kate and Murayama, it was nice to see Issei again. I wonder why Kenneo, Yama, and Rice-Onizen were so attached to him, Murayama pondered. Who cares? The only one making a move seems to be Kenneo-chan, and Issei seems oblivious. Now's our chance, Kate said with determination. Oh, sorry, but you both won't get the chance, a voice called out, causing them to stop. They turned to see a guy with black eyes and white hair. Ah, I wanted to catch them off guard. Oh well, said a girl with white eyes and black hair. Who are you? Kate demanded. Why yeah, Murayama added nervously. Well, that's not important because now you die, the man said, lunging toward Murayama. Mura! Kate cried out. Don't worry, you're next, dear, the woman said, approaching Kate. She moved swiftly and Kate gasped, feeling a sharp pain. As the two girls fell, questioning what had happened, Issei arrived just in time. Well, looks like we've been found, the woman started but was cut off. I suggest you keep quiet right now, Issei growled, appearing in front of her. He swiftly lifted her off the ground and slammed her down. He turned to the man and moved in an instant. You killed them for no reason. For that, you'll pay, rogue devil, Issei declared, striking with a lightning-coated hand. The man fell, and Issei used a bolt of lightning to turn him to ashes. The woman, terrified, quickly met the same fate. I'm sorry you two had to get involved, Issei said, looking at the girls. Issei, I can revive them, Rias offered, and Issei looked at her. Only if you want to. I want them alive, but I've already asked enough of you, he replied, and she nodded. Okay, let's see if each can take a pawn, Rias said, and they could. I, Rias Gremory, in the name of our 4 Maos, restrict you in the name of the Gremory clan. Rejoice in your new life, Rias proclaimed, and a flash of red light enveloped them. The two groaned and looked around. Hey guys, Kate said, then remembered what had just happened. How are we alive? Didn't we just die? Murayama asked. Look, we'll explain this when we're back at the compound. Until then, please come with us, Issei said, receiving nods in response. Time skipped to dinner. Wait, you're devils and we're also devils? Not only that, we're your servants? Kate asked, more like demanding an answer. Yes, Yumi answered her first question as she and the devils of the group sprouted wings. Yes, Akino added, and Kate felt bat wings appear on her back, noticing Murayama had a pair too. And yes, but I don't see you as servants. You're my adorable pieces, my friends, and my family, Rias said, making Kate feel guilty for her earlier accusation. Okay, but what about those who aren't devils? Kate asked. Well, I'm a fallen angel and a thunderbird. Those 2 are thunderbirds, those 3 are fallen angels. She's a kitsune, and she's a mage, Chase explained, receiving nods in return. Then what's Issei? Murayama asked, and those who didn't know looked sheepish while the others exchanged glances. I'm not human, but wait a little longer, and I'll tell you what I really am or show you, Issei said, returning with food. Everyone looked astonished at the spread before them. I like to cook, please eat up, Issei said, and everyone was surprised at the amount Chase had. What training as much as I do works up an appetite, and this stuff is the best food you'll eat. Issei is like a prodigy chef, Chase said, and those who didn't know Issei or had forgotten were amazed to see Kenneo, the fallen angels, the Thunderbird siblings, Kasai, Selena, and Tiamat dig in as well. After dinner, everyone was happy and addicted to Issei's cooking. They then went to sleep, eagerly awaiting training the next day. It was a training day. Frey was to train Akino, Rias, and Tsubaki in the morning. Chase was to train Kiba and Momo. Kasai and Kaneko would train together in the morning. Selena would train Asia and Hannah. Issei would train Murayama and Kates, while Sparks would continue Issei's and Chase's training along with Kasai, Selena, and Tiamat, who wanted to learn how to control electricity. Issei would take some days to train them by himself, as well as the satyr group. Kenneo, dear, are you ready to become the electricity queen? Frizz. Yes, thanks for training me, Kenneo replied, receiving a surprise hug. No problem, my dear. I'm rooting for you and the rest to make Issei feel loved, Frey said, causing Kenneo to blush. Frey then looked at Rias and Tsubaki. Though I hope for his sake he's your S and not your M, Frey said, and Kenneo giggled. I hope he's my M because I'd love to show him a ride, and if he's my S, then I get to experience a ride, Kenneo giggled. You know, I see a lot of you in me. We'll get along swimmingly, Frey said, making the other two shiver at this. Meanwhile, with Yumi, you're too slow, defenseless, and weak, so here, Chase said, strapping 200-pound weights on her legs and two 300-pound weights on her arms. Why so much on my arms? Yumi asked nervously, struggling to move them. Your legs are 3 times stronger than your arms, so you'll have to wear this until we progress. Don't worry, this won't make you look like a bodybuilder, just strengthen your arms and legs, Chase reassured her, and Yumi relaxed and took a deep breath. Okay, so what do I do? She asked. Oh, that part's simple, dodge, Chase said, launching thunder and lightning bolts at her. With Kaneko. Okay, Kaneko-chan, here you go, Kasai said, dropping weights. 2 weights of 1,000 and 2 more of, okay, what am I going to do? Kaneko asked nervously as a playful smile appeared on the kitsune's face. You'll train with these on until I say so, and you'll also spar with me until then, Kasai replied, receiving a nod in response. Well, let's do this, Kaneko said, returning the kitsune's playful smirk. With Asia and Hannah. Okay, Asia, we're going to improve your magic, and Hannah, we're going to practice your magic as well as your ability to absorb magic, Selena said, earning nods from both girls. Okay, Hannah, cast a lightning bolt, Selena instructed, watching as she did. Good, but you can do better. Now, Asia, I want you to focus on healing from a wider range, she added, and Asia nodded. Good, but you can also improve. Come on, you two, I believe you'll both prove to be amazing out there, Selena encouraged, and they smiled. Thank you, Selena, they said in unison, and she smiled back. With Murayama and Kates? Okay, I sense sacred gears in you both, Issei said, noticing their nervousness about training, especially after seeing Yumi and Kaneko with weights heavier than they expected. What's a sacred gear? Moore asked. I'll show you boosted gear, Issei replied. Wow, that's a sacred gear. This is awesome, Kates exclaimed. You have no idea, but yes, they are also useful tools that grant the user incredible abilities, Dryag said, causing them to jump. Who said that? Murayama asked, startled. I did. The boosted gear is my essence. I am Dryag, the being who resides within it. Most gears have spirits like myself, while others do not. Now, let's get started, Dryag continued, and they looked on in awe. Okay, Murayama, you're up first. I want you to think and focus on the most powerful thing you can imagine, Issei instructed, receiving a nod. She closed her eyes and envisioned the most powerful being she could think of. A large light blue dragon appeared in her mind, resembling an Eastern dragon. It turned to her and smiled. When she opened her eyes, a necklace appeared around her neck. Wow, to think this human-turned devil has you. You are a lucky one, Dryag remarked. What do you mean, Dryag? Issei asked. He means me. One of the 7 legendary dragons. I am Cress, the dragon of creation and light, a female voice chimed in. If you're here, child, please try yours, Dryag encouraged Kates, who nodded. Kates followed suit, surprised to see a dark red, almost blood-red dragon appear in her thoughts. It smirked at her, and then a bracelet appeared on her right wrist. Oh, Dryag dear, so good you remember us. And hello there, my first dear host. My name is Diane, and I am the dragon of destruction and darkness, she said playfully. Oh, well, you two are fortunate to have such powerful beings within you. They are known as the yin and yang pair, Issei noted. You are very kind, Dryag's host. I see why my host admires you, Cress said gratefully. Yeah, I think my host made a good choice, Diane added with a teasing tone. Hey, you two, he's already got 20 or more after him, Dryag remarked, feeling a bit sorry for Issei. What do you mean, after me? Issei asked innocently, prompting a sigh from Dryag while the yin and yang duo marveled at his naivety. And that's the second reason he's too innocent to notice, Dryag commented. Okay, now I know how to train you. Let's start, Issei declared. Time skipped to the end of the day. So you two house 2 of the 7 legendary dragons, which marks you as their descendants, Chase said, impressed. Of who? Rias asked in surprise. First, who do you possess? Chase inquired, shifting into his sacred gear mode. My host is Murayama, and I am Cress, the dragon of creation, and light. Cress announced as the necklace appeared and glowed blue. I am Diane, the dragon of destruction and darkness. My host is Kates, Diane added, maintaining her usual tone. Ah, I see. So that would make Murayama the descendant of the demon lust, and Kates the descendant of the demon wrath, Chase explained as Issei walked in. Wait, is that why those dragon names sounded familiar? Issei asked, placing the food down. Yes, airhead. They were the dragons of wrath and lust, Chase replied, slightly annoyed at his friend's forgetfulness. So what are the 7 legendary dragons? Hannah asked, while everyone except Murayama and Kates looked shocked. Well, there were 7 dragons said to be tamed by the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins, in order of command, are pride, sloth, lust, wrath, envy, greed, and finally gluttony, the only sin to perish and have no descendants, Issei explained. 2 questions. What are the 7 deadly sins, and what do you mean by perish? Murayama asked. Well, the 7 deadly sins were assassins who followed the orders of Satan, the very first and most powerful ruler of hell. During the Great War, which was a conflict between the factions of angels, fallen angels, and devils, they acted as assassins. On Satan's command, they killed millions, perhaps billions. They were even involved in the downfall of the heavenly dragons, Drake and Albion. And before you judge them, they had their reasons. Satan fell in love with a holy maiden named Grace, who cooled his flames from red to blue, Issei said, taking a moment to eat. Wow, I haven't even heard this before, Rias said, intrigued by the story. Me neither, Rainier added, equally captivated. Not even the church told us this, Asia said excitedly. It is an old tale, dear, Frey commented as she ate, and Sparks nodded in agreement. Anyway, disaster struck when the fallen angels and angels discovered the truth. Grace was left alone because Satan's assassins were on guard duty, and he was busy preparing his students for their roles in the other parts of hell. The angels issued a kill order on Grace for betrayal. She was killed and left on the road. Despite her fighting spirit, when she saw Satan, she told him she was sorry she had to leave him and that he had to remember she loved him. In a fit of rage, Satan ordered an attack on the 2 factions, and the 7 deadly sins carried out his orders. And so the war began due to forbidden love, and sadly, Satan perished in this conflict, Issei concluded, looking around at those who hadn't heard the story, their eyes glistening with tears, even Saji's. It's so tragic to think it all happened just because they were from opposing factions, Asia sobbed. Yeah, who knew our great king sacrificed so much for love? I can understand that, Rias added, her voice trembling. Our great king. I never realized how much he suffered and the pain he endured, Sona said, tears welling in her eyes. And to think it was all caused by the forbidden love of those 2, it's like Romeo and Juliet, Yumi remarked. I'm surprised that Satan wasn't as terrible as the books portray him. Poor guy, Rainier concluded. A week and a half later, Rhea found herself on the ground, feeling uncertain about her progress in magic. She sighed sadly, startled when she heard a voice. Looking up, she saw Chase approaching, handing her a Gatorade. Thanks, Chase, right? She asked. Yeah. I know it may seem tough, but think of it this way, your whole group is counting on you to improve, and I believe you can do it, he encouraged, causing her to blush. You're one of the most promising mages I've seen, so remember to believe in yourself, he added, and she smiled back at him, her cheeks still flushed. Thank you, Chase-san, she replied. No problem, just call me Chase, he said before heading off to train with Yumi. Rhea felt a newfound determination swell within her, warm and welcoming. 1 week later, their training had gone well, and they were given 5 days to rest and adjust to their progress. Rhea gained better control over her destructive powers, able to cause wider damage. Kenneo mastered control over electricity and other elements. Sona improved her water powers, making them last longer while casting barriers. Tsubaki strengthened her arms and legs, along with her magical knowledge and the use of her sacred gear. Yumi managed to lift 500 pounds with her legs and 1,500 with her arms, becoming faster and more resilient. Kenneo also grew stronger, capable of lifting 2,800 pounds with her arms and 1,500 with her legs. Despite their similar appearances, both Yumi and Kenneo had become formidable in their own right. The Citri group excelled in magic, with Momo mastering up to 15 elements. Saji was on the verge of unlocking his sacred gear, having already accessed 2 of its 5 parts. Asia learned barrier magic, alongside water, earth, and lightning magic, while her healing became faster and more powerful. Hana mastered lightning, healing, light, fire, earth, water, air, and destruction magic. Marayama achieved balance breaker in her sacred gear for a week, becoming stronger and faster, immune to light attacks. Kates also gained the ability to vanish into shadows. Rainier, Millelt, and Calawarner enhanced their light spears and attacks, acquiring their 4th set of wings, totaling 8. Tiamat learned complete control over electricity. Okay, you two, this is to see how much you've improved with my help. Now, let the spar between Issei and Chase begin. The winner gets to choose the punishment for the loser, Sparks announced, and the two stared each other down. So, Issei, swords or hand-to-hand combat? Chase asked. Hand-to-hand combat. No need to go overboard, Issei replied. Very well, be my guest, Chase said. Don't mind if I do. Issei rushed forward, using a flash step. Chase caught his fist with a smirk before countering with a punch that sent Issei crashing into a tree. Groaning, Chase quickly retaliated with a jab and a kick, sending Issei flying. Issei flipped midair, using his momentum to launch himself back at Chase, who was overwhelmed by the flurry of punches. He coughed from the force of the blows but countered with an elbow strike that slammed Issei to the ground. I'm not done yet. Issei shouted, kicking Chase in the chin. Neither am I. Chase responded, delivering a kick to Issei's face that made his jaw pop. Both boys spat out blood from the fierce exchange. Issei charged at Chase with a barrage of punches, but Chase blocked them with his hands. Wow, those two are powerful, Rias remarked. No, they're holding back. If they went all out, it would have been a draw after each landed a hit, Sparks explained. Wow, Chase is so cool. Rhea exclaimed, earning a curious glance from Momo. What did you say, Rhea? Momo asked. Oh, I just think Chase-kun is awesome. Go, Chase-kun. Rhea said, hiding her earlier thoughts. What am I thinking? He's a fallen angel, and it's not like I care, but what's this feeling? She thought, battling with herself. Little did she know, Frey was smirking at her reaction. The two continued exchanging blows, each hit met with a counter. Kicks were matched with kicks, punches with punches, and headbutts with headbutts. Let's end this, Chase declared, his 10 wings unfurling. My thoughts exactly. Issei shouted back. Light lightning spear. Chase cried, summoning a massive spear made of light and electricity. Thunder and lightning gods' hammers. Issei shouted, creating 2 hammers that resembled fists. The attacks collided, resulting in a thunderous roar. Ugh, that was a lucky shot, Chase grumbled. Yeah, you said it. Why don't you give up? Issei taunted. Like hell. Chase shot back. Fine then, Issei said, flash-stepping and slamming his fists together, striking Chase in the back of the head. The impact created a crater in the ground. That was dirty, Chase groaned. To everyone's surprise, Rhea rushed to his side. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern etched on her face. "Yeah, other than getting my butt kicked." "Thanks for checking, Rhea," he replied, smiling at her. She blushed, returning his smile. He smiled back, and a shiver ran down his spine as he looked at his sister. "Oh, Issei is the winner. What's Chase's punishment?" Sparks asked. "I'll save it for later," Issei replied with a nod. Dinner was a lively affair, and they were all stuffed. From the thrilling match to Rhea's worried antics, they had a great day. "I believe we should take a bath," Rhea suggested. "That's a good idea," Issei agreed. "What, do you want to join us?" Rhea teased, but then she had an idea. "No, that's not what I meant," Issei protested. "So you don't think we're satisfying enough, then?" Kenneo added playfully. "No, I think you're all beautiful," he said innocently, causing the girls to blush. "Well, it's settled. I don't mind letting him join. What about you guys?" "I don't want anyone to feel insecure," Rhea said. "We could wash his back," Kenneo suggested. "I wouldn't mind since he's not a pervert," Sona smirked, and her peerage nodded while Saji looked distressed. "I don't mind," Asia chimed in. "Just like old times, I'm in," Rainier said, and the other fallen angels nodded in agreement. "Ooh, to see Issei, I'm in," Kasai said with a mischievous grin. "I'm fine with it," Selena added shyly. I don't mind," Hannah said, blushing. "Since you are the prince, I don't mind," Yumi said, looking away with a blush. "A bath with the prince?" "I'm in," Kates declared. "I don't mind if Ayase-kun joins," Murayama stammered. "Well, he is my master, so I don't care," Tiamat said. Issei shot Kaneko a pleading look, and she returned it with a small smirk. "I'd love to have you join us like old times," she said, causing Issei to back up nervously. "Now, Issei, come quietly," Millet said, and Issei smiled nervously as they grabbed him and started to drag him along. Chase started laughing, but Issei had a plan. "Master, I want Chase's punishment to be that he has to join us in the bath," he said, causing Chase to choke on his drink. He started but was cut off. "Very well, Chase, go," Spark said. "But, Uncle." Chase began, but Rhea interrupted. Now, Chase-kun, a punishment is a punishment. "Come on, I'll wash your back," Rhea said cheerfully. But, Chase pleaded. "No buts. Now come on," Rhea insisted with a happy smile, and Chase reluctantly gave in. "Ah, young love," Frey remarked. "Eeh," the others exclaimed, with Sona and her peerage feeling both happy and worried. After the bath, Issei was still awake, having barely survived the experience. As he walked around, he spotted Rias in the garden, reading a book while wearing red-framed glasses. "Oh, hey, Issei," Rias greeted him. "Hey, do you need glasses to read or is it just for show?" Issei asked. "Nah, they help me relax," Rias replied. "Hey, I know it's kind of late, but could you tell me why you're against this marriage?" Issei asked. "I'm a Gremory," Rias began. "Yeah," Issei nodded. "No, I mean I'm Rias Gremory, but all I'm ever seen as is Rias of the Gremory clan. Everyone sees me like that, and Riser is the same way. To him, I'm just a Gremory, a trophy to conquer. When I marry, I want to marry someone who sees me as Rias not because I'm of the Gremory clan, but because I'm me," Rias explained. "Well, I don't know if this will help, but Rias is Rias to me. I see you as my awesome senior and beloved friend. You are one of the people I trust with my life. I like the way you are and hope you don't change too much," Issei replied, making Rias smile as a few happy tears fell from her eyes. "Thanks, Issei. You remind me of a boy I knew when I was about. He was my other best friend, and I truly miss him," Rias said. "Well, I can tell you he's closer than you think," Issei said, prompting Rias to think. "Well, I'm off. My mom wants me to visit a friend of hers and talk about something," Issei added. "But wait, when will you be back?" Rias asked, trying to stop him. "I'll be back in the morning if nothing comes up, I promise. And I can't say much, but don't worry, Rias. Just remember I believe in you," Issei assured her, and she smiled as tears began to fall. She gave him a hug, and he patted her back before waving goodbye as he left. As he teleported, his smile became more serious. He walked up to a mansion, surrounded by sunny skies and trees everywhere. A sign read, Phoenix. He knocked on the door and waited. A woman with purple hair opened it and smiled at him. I see you came. I'm so glad to see you. Issei's here, she exclaimed. Hey, Ubeluna. How have things been for you, Carlin, Shun, Isabel, Nell and Mira? He asked, his usual smile on his face. Good, though that incompetent man kissed me in front of you and tried to treat us like tools, Ubeluna said, her expression turning serious. Really? That's messed up. Maybe I should fry him. You guys aren't tools. You're all beautiful women who have the right to be free, Issei said sincerely. Ubeluna blushed but smiled at his words. Always the sweet talker. Well, that's what I like about you, Shuelon said as she entered. She was a young woman with black hair and blue eyes, dressed in a traditional Chinese outfit with her hair styled in twin buns. It is Issei, and we wouldn't have him any other way, Carlomine added, a young woman with brown hair and green eyes, dressed in a medieval knight outfit. You got that right, Isabel chimed in. She had brown hair with red streaks and blue eyes, usually wearing a mask but not when relaxing. Hey Issei, you came? Al said cheerfully. Yeah, how have you been? Nell asked. They were twins with green hair and grayish-blue eyes, their fangs peeking out. Yes, I apologize for hitting you with the staff, Mira said. She had blue hair and hazel eyes, wearing a red kimono that gave her an elegant aura. But what caught Issei's attention was the bit of makeup under her eyes. It's nice to see you all too, and it's fine. You were following orders. Also, he hit you again, didn't he? Issei asked, noticing Mira and the others flinch. I'm sorry, it's part of my blame. I tried to stop him, but as you can see, he didn't, a new voice said. A girl with blonde hair and blue eyes approached. Her hair was styled in playful drills at the front. No, Ravel, you're not at fault. That guy takes you all for granted, Issei said with a growl, causing the girls to smile at his protective nature. Anyway, Ravel, I promised you tea and cake, Issei said with a warm smile. Why yes, but it's not like I was looking forward to it or anything, she replied, making the others laugh. Issei simply smiled and took her hand, causing her to blush. Well, let's go. You make the best cake, he said, and Ravel beamed at him. As the last day of training arrived, Rias and Sona expressed their gratitude. I just wanted to thank you all for coming over and helping us, they said, and their group bowed in response. It was no trouble, you all came a long way and I hope you win, Sparks replied. Oh dear, just go out there and win. I'll be cheering for you, Frey added. Kaneko-chan, show them what you've got. Kasai encouraged. Asia, Hannah, I believe both of you have grown in power and improved significantly, Selena praised. You all better win and show them who's boss, and don't think you're done with training yet, Chase warned. I believe you all have come far. You've all improved and some of you have made the most progress. Go out there and show that guy who's in charge. Remember, win or lose, be proud of who you are, and know that we'll be proud of you too, Issei said, and they all smiled, embracing him in a group hug. It was the day of the raiding games. Issei smiled at his friends as they engaged in some last-minute exercises. He looked at Rice, Akino, Kaneko, Asia, Hannah, Murayama, and Kates. Chase patted his shoulder and nodded. Okay, guys, I wish you luck, Issei said, receiving nods in response. He and Chase teleported to the viewing room. Once there, Issei was surprised to see Michael, Gabriel, Sona's peerage, and Azazel, along with the Devil Kings. Issei, it's been a while, Michael said, and Issei smiled back. Likewise. How's everything in heaven and how's Ireina? He asked. Good. I may have a matter soon that I might ask for your help with, and Ireina is fine, Michael assured him. Welcome, everyone, to the match between Rias Gremory and Riser Phoenix. I'll be your host, Graphia, she announced. For those who are new, here's how it works. Rias Gremory's goal is to reach Riser Phoenix's base and vice versa. Like chess, the main objective is to eliminate the other team's pieces, with the king piece pawns allowed to promote once they reach the enemy's base. Rias Gremory's base is the Occult Research Club, while Riser Phoenix's is the student council building. Begin. With Rias, confusion settled in as Hannah asked, guys, she said begin. Yes, but Hannah, this is a lot like a chess game. People don't rush in, only when it's a special game type. Anyway, let's come up with a plan, Rias explained. Okay, well, we're in the old school building and they are in the new. Chances are they'll go for the gym since it's in between the two, Yumi suggested, and Rias nodded. Thanks for the info, Yumi. Alright, I'll send Kaneko, Hannah, and Murayama to the gym. Meanwhile, Yumi and Kates will guard the forest until I give the signal. After that, I want Kaneko, Hannah, Murayama, Yumi, and Kates to meet at the baseball field, Rias instructed, and the group nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, Riser looked at his new piece. She was a woman with orange hair and golden eyes, covered in a robe that concealed her true power. The energy radiating from her made the others step back. Are you sure you can assure my victory? Riser asked with a confident smirk. Yes, you were right to make that wish. The one who trained them assured their victory, and now I'll assure yours if you uphold your end of the deal, she replied coolly. Right, since you took the place of one of my bishops, the position you took over is yours, he said, and she smiled in response. Good, I shall enjoy this, she said, her voice laced with darkness. Ravel, Isabel, Eubelina, Nell, Al, Carlem, Shuan, and Mira exchanged worried glances, thinking, Issei is not going to be happy. With Kaneko, Hannah, and Murayama, the three approached the gym. As they did, they sensed 4 opponents. From their power and abilities, they identified 1 rook and 3 pawns. Kaneko nodded as they entered, rushing forward to punch one of the opponents. Shuelon jumped out and blocked her attack with a challenging smile, and they both charged at each other. Hannah and Murayama unleashed demonic energy in 3 directions. Mira, Nell, and Isle emerged, with Nell and Al brandishing chainsaws and Mira wielding a staff. Mora, I'll take the one with blue hair. She seems to have a lot of magical power, Hannah said, receiving a nervous nod from Murayama. Okay, I'll take these 2 with Creation's necklace. Murayama shouted as her sacred gear appeared. Merlin's ring. Hannah called, and her ring manifested. In the viewing room, Azazel exclaimed, Wow, the wielders of Merlin's ring and Creation's necklace are on your sister's team. She's lucky, Surzex. I hadn't known myself, but it's good to see, Surzex replied. Just wait until you see the other one she has, Dad, Chase said with a smirk. Wait, you mean she has more? Azazel asked, surprised. Yup, and just wait until you see. I trained them myself, Issei said confidently. This is going to be good, Michael commented with a smile. Back with the 3, Hannah launched a lightning spell at Mira, who barely dodged it. Hannah then conjured blue fire and sent it toward Mira, who blocked it with a barrier. The 2 locked eyes, and Hannah smirked as she chanted, Bow of the Elements. A bow appeared in her hands, and she shot an arrow at Mira. Mira blocked it, but the arrow exploded, sending her back. She smiled, letting herself rest as a blue light enveloped her, signaling her defeat. Riser Phoenix loses 1 pawn, Graphia announced. Seeing Mira disappear, Kaneko seized the opportunity. She slammed her fist into Shuelon's stomach, then pulled her head down into her knee. Dazed, Shuelon stumbled, and Kaneko finished her off with a drop kick, sending Shuelon crashing into the wall, where a blue light took over her. Riser Phoenix loses 1 rook, Graphia declared. Okay, my turn, Murayama said. Miss a word of advice. You're limited in what you can create until you train more. Please be careful, Cress advised. Got it, Cress? Okay, I'll try this. Lust's fans? Murayama chanted as a pair of Japanese fans appeared in her hands. She opened them to reveal steel blades instead of fabric. Wait, Lust? Nell asked, surprised. As in one of the Demon King's queens? I'll finished nervously. Yup, now let's finish this. Murayama said, appearing before them and slashing with the fans. A burning sensation spread through their bodies as they faded to blue light. 2 pawns for Riser Phoenix, Graphia announced. 5 pawns for Riser Phoenix, she added. The 3 ran out, and Kaneko exclaimed, Now Akino Senpai. Suddenly, the gym exploded. As they walked away, an explosion hit Kaneko head-on, leaving her in a crater, her clothes torn. "Kaneko-chan!" Hana and Murayama yelled in concern. "Darn it," she muttered before disappearing in a blue light. "One rook for Rias Gremory," Grafia stated. "Well, now you are powerful. How about you play with me?" Yubaluna said with a smirk. "You guys go on ahead and meet the others. I'll deal with her," Akino said, smiling. Confidently. The two nodded and ran off. "Well, Priestess of Thunder, let's do this," Yubaluna challenged. "Actually, it's Priestess of Electricity Bomb Queen," Akino corrected, shooting out a bolt of blue thunder. Yubaluna turned her head just in time for it to fly past her. "I really hate that name." "Ah well, let's do this," Yubaluna replied. Meanwhile, Yumi and Kates were hiding in the trees as the remaining pawns came into view. They nodded, and Kates chanted, "Worth's destruction." The 7 pawns' eyes widened as an explosion erupted. 2 pawns for Riser, Grafia announced. 5 pawns for Riser Phoenix, she added, and the two smiled at one another. 1 rook for Rias Gremory, Grafia concluded, leaving them shocked. They rushed to the meeting location, the viewing room. "Wow, Yubaluna has gotten stronger," Issei remarked, surprising everyone except Chase. "Wait, you know the Bomb Queen?" Son asked. "She prefers to be called Yubaluna. She actually dislikes that name," Issei clarified. "Whoa, I see. It seems you are full of surprises. Are you sure you won't become my queen?" Seraphal asked. She was a woman with black hair and gray eyes, one of the current Devil Kings and the only female among them. "Sorry, Leviton, I made a promise," Issei replied, causing her to pout. "That makes me want to destroy heaven," she exclaimed, and Michael chuckled nervously. Please don't. No more wars," he pleaded. "Well then, Issei, why not join my peerage and become an angel?" Gabriel suggested, earning a glare and pout from Seraphal. "Tempting, Gabriel, but again my promise," he said, and she pouted too. The rest in the room chuckled, sweat dropping at the sight of the 2 pouting females. Back with the strike group, Yumi said, "Okay, so we took out 9 pieces, that leaves 7 to go." They looked over to see the knights and rooks preparing for battle. "Hana and I will take on the knights. Murayama and Kates will handle the rooks," Yumi instructed, receiving nods from her teammates. Yumi and Hana rushed out as the knights prepared themselves. "Time disc!" Hana chanted, summoning discs of light blue energy. She threw them at the knights. Carlamine dodged, but the others were hit, feeling their power drain away as a blue glow enveloped her. "One knight, Riser Phoenix," Grafia announced. Boom. The group turned to the explosion. Yumi and Hana nodded, and Hana shouted to Murayama and Kates, "Go see who that was. I think Akino-senpai needs help." They nodded and chanted, "Jets," coating themselves in light before zooming toward the smoke. "Well, now it's 2 on 2 and we can go all out," Carlamine said, and Isabel, the last rook, nodded in agreement. "Likewise," Yumi replied. With Akino, Yubaluna groaned, "That was a good hit." "Why, thank you. Now go away," Akino replied. "Nope, and you're going to pay for that," Yubaluna said, pulling out a glass vial. "Phoenix tears." Akino gasped. "Yup, now let's continue this," Yubaluna said, but before she could drink, a flame struck the vial. She turned to see the new bishop. "We're on the same side." Yubaluna cried. "Only cowards use those and I don't care. Now I'll deal with the knight and pawn," the bishop declared before vanishing. "Akino-senpai, are you okay?" Murayama and Kates asked in unison. "I'm fine, but Yumi and Hana are in trouble," Akino said, glancing at the shaken Yubaluna. "A word of advice before you finish me. She's powerful. All the remaining pieces you have must attack her," Yubaluna warned. They nodded and launched a combination attack at her. As she faded away, Akino asked, "Why help us?" "Let's just say I don't want you and your master to suffer what we suffer," she replied before disappearing. They rushed to join the others. "Queen Riser Phoenix," Grafia stated. Back in the viewing room, Sona asked, "Whoa, when did Riser get a new bishop?" "You don't think he?" Chase began. "He did. Why else would she be here?" Issei growled. With the group, Carloman complimented, "Wow, you're a pretty good knight of Gremory." "So are you, Knight of Phoenix," Yumi responded. As the knights continued to fight, the new bishop appeared, smirking at what she deemed a petty fight. She then sent a giant fireball toward them. The two looked up just in time to see it approaching. "One knight Gremory, one knight Phoenix," Graphia said, shocked. "What are you doing?" "She was on your side." Hannah yelled at the new bishop. "Side is a matter of perspective, worm. Now die like a good girl," the new bishop retorted with a smirk. She launched 2 fireballs at Hannah. Hannah jumped over the first and rolled out of the way of the second. She then retaliated by sending a bolt of lightning at the bishop, who caught it with ease. The bishop smirked as she sent it back, hitting Hannah. She gasped and screamed but quickly countered, launching a beam of light at the bishop, who failed to block it. Hannah then jumped up and kicked the bishop. The bishop gasped as she hit the ground, only to be met with Ravel and the other pieces firing at her. She smirked, leaping over them and launching an attack. Ravel was the only one to dodge it. 2 rooks Phoenix, Graphia announced. With Hannah distracted, the bishop launched a giant fireball at her. As it closed in, Charaters leaped over and threw up a shield. Murayama then jumped in and struck the bishop with a powerful punch. The bishop was sent flying into the school gym area, where a Kenneo blasted her. The bishop grunted and leaped into the air, creating jets on her feet to fly high. Meanwhile, Rias and Asia were making their way to Riser. The bishop noticed this and smirked before disappearing in a ball of fire. "Where is she?" Hannah asked, panting. "I don't know, but for now, let's head over to Rias 1E, Murayama suggested, also out of breath. "So, Rias, you have come to face Riser," Riser said. "Yes, and when you say face, I hope you mean surrender," Rias replied with a smirk. "Why would Riser surrender to you?" "Because you are outnumbered 6-2, and we have you beat." 6-3, and why would Riser give up without using her secret move? Riser smirked. In the viewing room, Surzex asked, "Secret move? What does he mean?" Rainier wondered. "Hey, where's Issei and Chase?" Rhea asked, and everyone looked around. "I have no clue," Azazel admitted. "Oh no," Momo said, and all eyes turned to her and the screen. Back with Rias and Riser, Rias asked, "Secret move?" "Hee now," Riser said. The bishop held up a planet-sized fireball and hurled it at Kenneo, Hannah, Charaters, and Murayama. Rias gasped as the flames neared them. She turned to attack the bishop but was stopped by Riser, who attacked Asia. Riser smirked as Rias looked on in despair. "Only one way to end this, my bride," Riser said, and Rias glared. "I'll stop you." "No, not that word. Come on, Rias, or your precious pieces die." Rias's eyes began to tear up as she looked around helplessly while the fireball grew closer. She saw the 4 trying to escape, but it seemed to lock onto them somehow. "It's easy, just say I surrender," Riser taunted, launching an attack at Asia. "Okay, I surrender," Rias yelled, and both attacks halted, leaving Rias in a world that felt like it was ending. She had lost, and now she was bound to serve. "Sorry this took so long to update, but I recently started college and have been busy. I'll try to update this and the other stories when I'm free. Until then, I hope you enjoy." Issei and Chase waited for Surzex and the others to finish their discussion. Right now, Rias was set to marry Riser. Issei clenched his shirt tightly, frustration boiling within him. Chase sighed and shook his head. They would find a way to deal with Riser soon enough. Surzex emerged, looking troubled, and glanced at the two. "Oh, you're still here," he remarked. "Yes, that match was unfair. Riser's bishop is Sasha Kuchi, a Japanese spellcaster at the level of an archmage," Issei explained, shocking Surzex. "Riser seemed to know that once she trained with us, he would lose, so he sought her out. Knowing him, she'll be by his side until they are married," Chase added with a sigh. "So if he didn't have her, Rias and her peerage would be safe with you," Chase concluded, and Surzex frowned. "As dishonorable as this is, it was set in stone that she would have to marry him if he won." "There's nothing more I can do," he said, exhaling deeply. "We're working on that," Issei replied, and Surzex looked at him in surprise. Just keep an ear out for us and enjoy the show, Chase said with a smirk, and the two vanished in a flash. Sigh, well, I guess these are the people I put my faith in, he said with a small smirk. So what are we going to do? Chase asked. We're going to teach those two a lesson, Issei declared, his anger palpable. We need a plan, Issei. She may be difficult, but she's still formidable, Chase reminded him. I know that, but the thought of him having Rias makes it hard to think straight, Issei admitted, his frustration evident. Chase smiled slightly, realizing Issei was on the right track. You're right, we need to teach them a lesson. I have a plan that you'll like. Just hear me out and try to stay calm. Here's the location of the party, Grafia said to the two. Thanks, Grafia. We'll be there soon, Chase replied, and Issei nodded. Are you too sure about this? Absolutely. It's all according to plan. See you there, Chase said, and they vanished. You look beautiful in that dress, Ms. Gremery, a devil said with a smile. Doesn't she? Riser had his best maids pick it out, Riser chuckled. Rias's eyes were dull, and she sighed as the two continued their conversation. She glanced over at her peerage, who also looked defeated. Riser had made his intentions clear, and tears welled up in her eyes at the thought. She thought of Issei. Even after training her, she still lost. How could he want to save her now? So, Riser, when is the wedding? A female devil asked, deepening Rias's despair. It should be in the next few days, as Riser's mother is planning it. It will be grand, Riser laughed. Hannah watched this unfold, frowning. She dreaded the marriage and what Riser had said would happen afterward. Oni-chan, where are you? She thought. Issei and Chase appeared a few feet away, but their path was blocked by a wall of flames. They looked up to see Sasha floating above them with a smirk. I can't let you two interrupt this party. It's my job to ensure it goes smoothly. Oh, no worries. He's going to disrupt it, Chase said, raising an eyebrow. And what about you? Sasha challenged. Kicking your butt sounds nice, Chase replied with a smirk, then flashed behind her and kicked her down, causing her to groan. You head on up, eh? I'll handle her, Chase said, and Issei nodded with a grateful smile before rushing forward. Not so fast, dragon. Sasha snarled, unleashing a stream of fire. Now, you're fighting me, remember? Chase said as he countered with a bolt of thunder, disrupting her attack. Sasha growled in pain and retaliated, but Chase leaped up and delivered a powerful punch to her cheek, sending her flying back toward the entrance. Now let's have some fun. Isn't that what you always say, Sasha? Chase mocked and she glared at him. Thanks, Chase. Your plan is brilliant. Flashback. What's the plan, Chase? Issei asked. It's simple, really. We storm this party he's bound to throw. Sasha will show herself to keep her word. We need someone to give us the location first. Then we'll storm his party. When Sasha appears, I'll take her on while you push forward. After that, make your way to the main room. Once there, challenge Riser for Rias. Wait, why not just kick his butt? It's simple. If you kick his butt, all that will do is make the devils angry and force you out. The elders want this to happen more than ever, so they'll use their influence to make you look bad. At the same time, Rias will have no chance after that. By challenging him, you not only gain respect, but they'll likely push Riser to accept. When he does, you say you want Rias in return. Wait, why would I ask for Rias and not for the annulment of this marriage? He questioned. Because that doesn't stop others from trying. This way, she'll be guaranteed freedom, and no one will try to take it away again, Chase explained. I see. All right, I'll make sure to challenge him. Good, because if you don't, the plan is a bust, Chase concluded. Flashback and... Now to get to Riser, he thought. Halt right there, a guard yelled. Issei flashed forward and kicked the guard aside. Hey, halt! More guards shouted, but he unleashed a bolt of thunder, causing them to flee. There are the doors, he thought, bursting through. Wait, what is the meaning of this? Riser asked, frowning in shock at the sight of Issei. Riser, I challenge you for Rias Gremery. My mother is the leading medical scientist in America. You know that information is sensitive, right? Don't pretend you didn't know. Fine, you're right, but what's your point? My point is that after all these years, Issei and I still know you. I know that to you, money is just a bonus. Oh. You despise people like Riser and have never worked for their kind before. But when you heard that Issei and I were training them, you thought, if I beat their students, that means I'm the stronger one, right? Just shut up, Sasha said through gritted teeth. However, you overlooked one key point. What is that, you JRK? You messed with the wrong people, Chase said, his eyes narrowing. You know you're right. Why beat the student to prove you're strong when you can just beat the master? Sasha said, launching a wave of fire at Chase. Chase ducked under it and rushed toward the mage. Sasha blocked his punch but retaliated with one of her own. Chase absorbed the hit and kneed her in the stomach. She doubled over and received a blow to the face, groaning as she charged up a fire attack. Give up yet? Chase asked, lightning crackling around him. Not a chance. Sasha launched a fireball at Chase. He blocked it but grunted as her fist connected with his stomach. She ignited her flames and scorched his midsection. Chase winced in pain and pulled back his arm. Sonic boom, he yelled, unleashing a sound wave from his fist that sent Sasha flying. He landed on his feet and dodged a punch. She swung again, but he evaded and elbowed her in the gut. Sasha coughed and skidded back a few feet. Is that all you've got, mage? Chase taunted as thunder crackled around him. No, bird brain, I'm just getting started. Sasha shot back, flames erupting around her. Chase flashed to her side and elbowed her in the gut, then threw her over his shoulder into the dirt. He kicked her away, and as she got up, she was hit by a sound wave followed by a blast of thunder. Taking the hit, Sasha drove a flame-coated fist into his face. She followed up with rapid punches to his chest and an uppercut that sent him flying back. She then blasted him with fire while he was in the air. As Chase fell, she launched blue flames at him. Take that. Sasha cheered as the flames exploded into a sea of blue. You really are foolish, Chase said as he emerged from the flames. He flashed behind her and punched her in the back, then quickly appeared in front of her and struck her stomach. He repeated this 4 times before delivering an uppercut that caused her to bleed from her mouth. Chase then appeared above her and drop-kicked her, sending her crashing down. He extended his wings and landed softly. Well, you should know the outcome was already decided when you chose our students to pick on, Chase said with a sigh. What outcome? Sasha asked as she floated up slowly. She began to laugh and charged up an attack. Chase dodged as it hit, turning the ground into molten rock. He cursed as another attack came down, narrowly missing him. It exploded on impact, and he kept rolling away as more hit around him. He felt his weight shift and cursed again as the next beam struck true, exploding with a cloud of smoke. Ah! Sasha laughed, holding her stomach. My, how the mighty have fallen. You're so weak now. I feel sorry for those girls you trained with, especially that devil who seems to like you. Maybe after this, I'll go after her. You are truly foolish, aren't you? Chase's voice came from the smoke. Oh. I was going to keep you alive by not fighting seriously, but as always, you know how to push my buttons, Chase said as he flew up. 6 wings erupted from his back, and Sasha felt a chill of fear grip her. How are you still alive? How are you so powerful? She asked, dread filling her. How am I this strong? Hard work and training, you fool. And how am I alive? Because I would never lose to someone so weak. Forget you and just die. Sasha screamed, pelting him with flames. I'm done with you now, Chase said, raising his hands. A spear of light appeared, crackling with thunder and power. Chase looked at the mage coldly. That's impossible. You shouldn't be able to use light, only angels and fallen angels can. You forget who my parents are. Parents? Oh, that's right, Azazel and Frey. I really am foolish. Thundering light spears. Chase declared, tossing the spear at Sasha. Ah! Sasha screamed as the attack hit. Bibim! The area was engulfed in a blinding light. Nearby devils ran in the opposite direction. Sasha groaned, barely conscious. So you made it, I see. I guess you are pretty strong, he said, and she groaned again. Well, it's up to you, Chase said with a smirk. Normal POV. Riser, I challenge you for Rias Gremory, Issei declared, shocking everyone in the room. Well, hey, it's nice of you to stop by, but it seems you need more manners. Didn't your mother teach you better? Riser replied with a smirk. His expression faltered slightly when he noticed Issei standing firm, giving him a death glare. This is interesting. Did I hear you correctly? You want my sister? Surzex said with a noble smile. Yes, sir, Issei replied. I see, so it was you who encouraged him to do this, Riser said, looking at his future brother-in-law. I did no such thing, but I must admit this party is boring, and some entertainment would be nice, Surzex said, and Riser smirked. I see you're right, it truly is boring. Beating this disrespectful fool will be more than entertaining enough, Riser said, and Hannah smirked as he took the bait. Very well then. We know what he wants if he wins, but what would you like? Surzex asked. Just to buy property in the Gremory land, Riser said, leering at all the women in his and Rias's peerage. Very well. And you, what is your name? Surzex asked. Issei Hayudu. Very well, Mr. Hayudu. If you win, you'll get Rias. The two were then transported to a battlefield. Gigantic chess pieces lined the walls, and the floor resembled a chessboard. You should have stayed out of this, Hayudu. It's a matter you don't understand, Riser said as he prepared for battle. So hiring a powerful mage to marry a girl for her name and then threatening her to make her comply is something I don't understand? Issei retorted. You sought outside help to ensure your victory and still haven't sent that help away. Are you truly that much weaker, Riser? Issei growled at the devil. Because you meddled in affairs not your own. You tried to force my friend to marry you. You still don't get it. No matter, I'll end this quickly. Riser rushed forward and struck Issei in the cheek. He then kicked him in the gut and sent him flying. Riser unleashed flames, attempting to engulf Issei, and kicked him into the ground. He charged up a fireball and launched it at Issei. As always, all talk, no game, Riser gloated. I'm really going to enjoy this, Issei replied. Issei flew at Riser and landed a punch on his jaw. Riser felt the impact and was sent sliding across the field. As he got up, Issei struck again, hitting him in the neck and sending him crashing into one of the chess pieces. Riser roared in anger and unleashed waves of fire at Issei, who deftly dodged them. Riser then punched Issei in the face and backhanded him away. He appeared behind Issei and knocked him into the ground before dropping down and kicking him in the chest. Issei steadied himself, feeling a surge of determination. He flew at Riser, landing a punch that knocked the air out of him. He followed up with a strike to Riser's face, breaking his cheekbone. Next, he drove his knee into Riser's back, sending him flying. Issei then appeared above Riser, slamming him into the ground. Scene break. Oh my, Riser's mother said as she watched the battle unfold. My word, that boy is certainly powerful, Riser's father remarked. Issei has always been this strong, Ravel said with a smile. Issei, Rias whispered in awe. And now you see why Riser was so scared when he learned who was training you, Serafal said, and Rias nodded. Though it is kind of brutal, Rias replied. Dragons always fight this way, it's in their nature, Blaze Yama, Queen of Serafal, said next to her. Scene break. Riser slowly got up, groaning. He had expected Issei to have stopped training after their last encounter, but it seemed Issei had been pushing himself just as hard. What's the matter? Issei asked as Riser struggled to rise. Where did all that strength go, huh? Issei taunted. You want strength? I'll show you strength. Riser declared, powering up. Die! Riser shouted, and Issei grunted as the flames hit him, actually burning now. Once I defeat you, I'll have my fun with Rias and her peerage and no one will stop me, Riser said, igniting Issei's rage. Partner, let's finish him, Drake growled, sensing Issei's determination. No one stole from a dragon except the Dmed. Ah! Issei roared, donning his balance breaker. He charged at Riser, who looked on in fear. No, stay away, Firestar. Riser shouted as a ball of flames hit Issei, but he punched through it. Issei then struck Riser in the gut, causing him to groan and crash into a statue. Issei didn't relent and followed up with a powerful punch. Riser screamed in pain as Issei's strikes were enhanced with fire and thunder. Issei continued to roar as he unleashed a flurry of punches. The crowd watched in awe, feeling fear as explosions erupted nearby. The seal is breaking. A female devil screamed as cracks formed around the area where Issei was attacking Riser. "He's hitting him that hard?" Blaze said, raising an eyebrow. "Riser!" Riser's mother exclaimed in fear. Issei continued to roar as the seal around them shattered, and Riser's regeneration began to falter. Riser himself had passed out from the relentless pain. In his dreams, he saw a red dragon covered in electricity. "I win!" Issei roared, delivering a final punch that sent Riser through the seal. For Rias, time slowed. She watched Issei in his armor finish off her nightmare of a husband, and Riser, now out cold and wide-eyed, hit a secondary seal before collapsing. She saw Issei's armor fade away. "Issei, thank you," she said, happy tears streaming down her face. The crowd cheered and booed the winner and loser. Issei felt his body catch up with him and fell to the ground, smiling at Rias as he heard her gratitude. She flew to him as the ground disappeared and caught him, hugging him tightly and spinning around. "Well, it seems Riser lost," Riser's father said as Riser's mother helped him up. "While I wish this hadn't been so violent, hopefully, this will wake him up," Riser's mother said, and Ravel smiled. "I think it will." Issei pulled no punches, Ravel said, cheering in her mind. "I would like that boy in our family." "Ravel, you seem to know him. Would you be opposed to marrying him?" Riser's father asked. "WW what?" "With Surzex." "He did it," Surzex said with a smile. "That he did. You picked a strong man for your sister," Blaze remarked, standing next to Serafal. "Yup, and Riastan looks so happy." "But he'll never amount to my Blaze-ten," Serafal boasted, and Surzex laughed as Blaze sighed. "You don't always have to boast, my dear." "Nonsense, you're the best person ever." "All right, we'll see you later, Surzex," Blaze said as he led Serafal away. "Bye," Serafal called out. Surzex smiled and turned to Graphia. "We should help them get away for now," he suggested. "I think that would help." Scene break. "Oni, you came?" Hannah exclaimed as she hugged Issei. "Yes, thank you, Issei," Asia added, joining the hug. Rias and her peerage smiled. "I had to, you guys were in trouble," Issei replied, returning the embrace. "Thanks, Issei, for saving us," Murayama said. "It's good to be away from that creep," Kates huffed. Maybe we should reward you," Aquino teased, causing the others to blush. "Aquino, back off," Rias growled. "I see you one," Chase said as he appeared, dragging a burnt and barely conscious Sasha. "Yup, and I see you brought someone," Issei replied. "Who's that?" Yumi asked. "This is the one who took you all out and tried to make it so you would all belong to Riser," Chase explained. "Can we beat her up more?" Kaneko asked with a frown. "Your choice, I just brought her to you." "See you at school," Chase said before teleporting away. "I'll take care of things here, Rias. In the meantime, I have a getaway for you and Issei," Surzex said as a griffin appeared. "Oniachan," Rias exclaimed, surprised. "Now run along, I'll have the others back before school," he said, and they both climbed onto the griffin. "See you at home, Oniai," Hannah and Asia called out. As they soared through the sky, Rias turned to Issei. "Issei, I just wanted to thank you." "No need, Rias. I'm happy I was able to help," he replied. "I see. Well, allow me to give you this." "What?" Issei asked, surprised as Rias leaned in and pressed her lips to his for a brief moment before pulling away. "My first kiss." "I hope you enjoyed it," Rias said with a playful wink and a blush. Issei nodded, his own cheeks flushed. Chapter end. Normal POV. A man sighed as he was called to attend a meeting. He had shoulder-length blonde hair, sapphire blue eyes, and pointed ears. He wore the typical robes of a priest and had a large sword sheathed on his back. His face was set in a slight frown, and he seemed taller than the average human. He heard two voices ahead and sighed. He approached a girl with brown hair styled in pigtails and purple eyes. She wore the same robes as him. Next to her was another girl with short blue hair, a single green strand and green eyes, who also wore the same robes. "Zenobia, what do you think they want to talk about?" the brunette asked. "I have no idea, Ireina. As I said before, I'm curious why you keep asking me," Zenobia replied. "Mew, you're no fun, Zenobia." "Issei would play along," Ireina whined. "Issei was your childhood friend, yes? Is it wise to have a boy as a friend?" "He could be thinking inappropriate thoughts," Zenobia said. "Issei is not like that." Ireina defended her friend, her cheeks turning pink. "Why are you blushing?" Zenobia asked. "No reason," Ireina shouted. The man approaching the two cracked a rare smile and chuckled. The two girls jumped, and Ireina blushed even more, looking down at her feet while Zenobia bowed. "Hello, Sir Victor," Zenobia said, and he sighed. "Just Victor, Zenobia," he replied, cutting off her protest. "Enough. We have work to do. The Order wants to meet with us, as you know." "Let's get this over with," Victor said, and they followed behind him. "I see. I hope you're happy and have kept your promise," Ireina thought, her cheeks still warm. Issei groaned as he woke up for the day. He was glad he had defeated Riser, but he felt exhausted. The extra warmth surrounding him stirred him awake. He cracked an eye open and blushed. Rias, Hannah, and Asia were all asleep in his bed. His blush deepened as he caught a whiff of their scents. He bit back a growl as his instincts flared. "Seems you're in heaven," Drake commented. "That's not funny, Drake. Do you know how hard it is not to give in?" Issei replied with a growl. "Oh yes, I know, but just remember the promise you made to that Ireina girl. If they want to be your mates, that's fine, but she should be first in line," Drake explained, and Issei took a deep breath. "You're right. Thanks, partner." "It's no problem, but do try to remember Thor's words of wisdom," Drake added, and Issei nodded. "Got it." He carefully got up, trying not to wake them, and made his way outside. He watched the sunrise and smiled. After getting ready, he went for a jog to clear his head. Riser had moved in with them after the game. He wasn't opposed to it, but it felt sudden. The fact that she slept without clothes and always next to him led to interesting developments, like the one he had just experienced. He sighed as he thought of Ireina. He honestly felt something for the girls in his room, and Rias's kiss had been nice. But he felt that if he acted on those feelings, he would be betraying the girl who had been there for him all those years. In truth, he liked the girls he had met, but he knew that he loved Ireina. At times like this, he cursed the fact that he was a dragon and held a dragon's sacred gear. Realizing the time, he ran back to his house and got ready. After a shower, he sat down at the kitchen table with his adopted parents and sister, as well as Asia and Rias. "Morning, son. How was the run?" his father asked. "It was good. It helps clear my head," he replied, receiving a nod. "Oh, so that's where you went," Rias said. "I told you that," Hannah said bitterly. "Yeah, it's part of the training I had to do. And I found that I enjoy running," he explained. "I see. Well, I do have a question," Rias said. "What is it?" his mother asked. "The club room needs to be cleaned today, and I was hoping to use your house as the meeting spot," Rias said, and they nodded. "As long as it's just the club, I'm okay with it." "As am I," his father added. "Great!" Rias exclaimed with joy. They finished their meal and made their way to school. Once at the gate, Kenneo, Chase, and Rainier were there to greet them. They all walked together to class, ignoring the jealous stares and comments they received. Along the way, Issei fell back to walk with Chase. "So, what happened with Sarah?" he asked. "She's in a place where no one will hear from her again." Surzex went hard on her? Not him. The elders were furious that a lowly human not only aided a noble devil but had the gall to try and use him. Use Riser? Hey, when you want someone taken care of and you don't want questions asked, you tell a little white lie. This doesn't feel right, Issei said, and Chase sighed. "It may not, but you must remember she asked for it," he replied. "You're right," Issei sighed again. By the way, did you sense the shift? Chase asked. Oh yes, I fear that another event is about to occur. Great, more fun, Chase said, annoyed, and Issei chuckled nervously. The school day went as usual. They attended their separate classes and waited for the day to end. Chase and Issei aced the pop quiz, while Asia improved from a 65% to an 80%. During lunch, Sona stopped by to say hi and check on Issei. She blushed whenever he looked her way, and he wondered why. It's because you're her fiancé, yes. Read more about underworld politics, Chase thought as this went on. By the time the final bell rang, Issei found himself escorting Rias, Akino, Asia, Hana, Kaneko, Yumi, Rainier, Chase, and all the others in the club to his home. Once there, instead of club activities, Hana brought out their baby books. Issei, having never seen them before, began to look through Hana's. He smiled sadly as he flipped through the photos, reflecting on all the moments he had missed. You were cute, sis, he said, and Hana blushed. Thanks, she replied shyly. Oh Issei, you were cute as well, Rias chimed in, and all the girls nodded in agreement. They looked at photos of him in the bath or playing with Ireina, and he smiled softly at the memories. Suddenly he and Chase felt a dark aura nearby. They turned to see Yumi staring at one particular picture. Yumi? Issei asked. Issei, do you know what this is? She asked, showing him the photo. In it, he and Ireina were holding hands in front of a sword, no ordinary sword, but a holy sword. Yes, that's me and Ireina standing in front of her family's holy sword. Why? It seems that I can't escape it. What do you mean? Nothing. Thank you for being honest. I must go, she said, turning to leave. Issei and Chase exchanged confused glances as they watched her retreat. With a nod, Chase sighed and mentioned he needed to head out as well. He also told the fallen angels to head home in an hour. And they agreed before he left. A holy sword? I wonder if it's a coincidence that she found that photo, or something more. Issei thought. But Victor. And that is your mission, the head priest said, and Victor frowned. You want us to go to Japan without notifying the Shinto gods, to retrieve the fragments of the holy sword Excalibur, and just to be sure, we are to tell the devils not to interfere since we assume the fallen are behind this, right? Correct. And the person we need to find is not only freed but also the man responsible for the Holy Sword project? Correct again. What else are you keeping from us? Victor asked, noticing the two accompanying him wince. They had been at this for hours, and Victor was growing increasingly annoyed with the head priest. You have all you need to know, he replied. Oh, okay, just one last question, sir, Victor said. Yes, the head priest sighed. Do you want to go to war? He asked. Holy night, Victor Winston, you're out of line, a nun yelled. How so? He countered, noticing the head priest's anger. By suggesting I wish to go to war. Oh, that? Then tell me, will keeping the Shinto in the dark prevent this? He asked, and the room fell silent. Because if I remember correctly, the devils tried to pull this before, and they have been on bad terms with the Shinto faction because of it. Also, the fallen angel leader Azazel is a friend of that faction. So if we attack the fallen, how would that not be seen as an act of war? Victor said, and Ireina nodded in agreement, recalling what she had learned and wishing not to anger the gods of her homeland. I see. I never thought of that, the head priest admitted, embarrassed. Now may I suggest that I head to the Shinto gods and notify them of this while Ireina and Zenobia find us a base of operations in case the church there is unholy? Victor proposed. We'll allow this. Now go, the nun said, and they walked out. Stupid fools. Victor thought with a frown. Normal POV. The sound of flapping wings could be heard as two people landed on a building. One was Sparks, and the other was his sister Freya. She looked a bit annoyed and he sighed, knowing why. They were about to see someone they both had conflicting feelings about. Don't start a fight, Sparks, she warned, and he frowned at her. As long as he doesn't provoke me, he shot back. I mean it, she growled, and his eyes narrowed, sparks of electricity flickering between them. You don't command my actions, dear sister, he said in a low tone. And you don't command mine, she retorted. They glared at each other, and Sparks pulled out a coin. She straightened her posture, and he looked at her. He flicked the coin up as it rotated, both keeping their eyes on each other rather than the coin. "Call it," he said as he caught it. "Tails." "Heads then." He flipped the coin over and sighed, the tail side showing. He glared as his sister smirked at him. Grumbling, he followed her lead. They walked into a dimly lit apartment suited for high-class personnel and looked at the man sitting on the couch. Azazel smiled at them. "Hello there, Sparks and my wife," he said, smirking as Sparks screeched in warning. "Azazel, darling, you look well," Freya said, eyeing him up and down. He smiled seductively, feeling a thrill. "And you'd think they're divorced," Sparks thought, looking away. "As are you, beautiful as ever. Now, I'm not opposed to a three-way, but bringing your brother into it? Can I?" he said, and Sparks bristled in disgust and anger. "I would rather fry the entire world into oblivion than ever think of that." Sparks yelled, and Azazel smirked as electricity sparked around him. "Darling, I love you, but suggest that again, and I'll end you where you stand," Freya said softly, causing both men to flinch at the intensity she radiated. Why are women so intimidating? They thought. All right, it was just a joke. Calm down, will you? You're causing it to rain, he said with a sigh. Why are you here? He added. That's simple, my dear. Are you aware of a fallen stealing the Excalibur pieces? She asked, and thunder flashed. Azazel's calm demeanor vanished. So this isn't a social call? He asked, sighing at the glares he received. Yes, I know about it and know who's doing it, he said, and thunder flashed again. With Yumi. She looked up at the sky in anger, feeling as if it were mocking her. Cold and wetness filled her senses, and with that chill came memories. The gas that filled the church room, the words, Holy Sword Project, and all the death it brought. Lastly, the memory of dying in the cold, never to be found. Her thoughts were interrupted by a noise, and she turned to see someone running toward her. A man, judging by his scent. As he approached, she got a better look at him. He was a priest, wearing the robes of one, and he was bleeding as he stumbled through the forming puddles. He tripped and landed at her feet. A priest, huh? She asked with a sneer. Please help me, he's coming, he pleaded. Asking my kind for help? Do you want to be condemned? She asked, studying him more closely. He had brown hair and green eyes. A face set in a pained smile, though it was not his usual expression, reflected the lines etched on his face and the years of training his body had endured. We're all children of God. Whether devil or man, we were all born from him. If I am condemned for asking a fellow child of God, then so be it, he wheezed, and she looked shocked. What do you? She started, but was interrupted. Touching, Father, but ultimately useless, a voice said, and she watched in horror as a blade pierced through his heart. She looked up to see Freed. Freed, she snarled, then froze as cold rage overtook her. In front of her was a sword, and not just any sword, but a holy one. You're one of the devils who stole the nun, Freed said with recognition. He, first a priest and now a devil. Someone must be shining down on me, he added as he prepared for battle. You don't know how happy I am to see you. I'll start my revenge with you, Yumi snarled, a feral smirk on her face. Oh, Freed asked with glee. Was it? And that's why I'm concerned, he said, finishing his explanation of Yumi's actions to Rias, Asia, and Hannah. I see, and I understand why you're worried. It's for good reason, Rias said. What do you mean? Hannah asked. It's more Yumi's story to tell. All I can say is that she was part of something that she and others were told was grand. When they failed to deliver as expected, the outcome was unpleasant. This has something to do with holy swords, Rias explained. Holy swords? Hannah asked. A sword that vanquishes all evil, like devils, Asia said nervously. Think Excalibur, Issei said, and a look crossed Hannah's face. Wait, King Arthur's sword is real? She asked. Yes, as are the other holy swords and even divine swords, Issei explained. Yumi has it out for holy swords, and seeing a picture must have set her off, Rias said with a sigh. I see. I'm sorry, Issei said. Don't be, it's not your fault. I just hope she doesn't do something reckless, Ria said, worry evident in her voice, and Issei looked concerned as well. Yumi, we need to talk, huh? He thought, gazing out at the rain. With Yumi? She panted in pain and anger as the rain poured down on her, soaking her clothes and hair. She glared at Fried with pure hatred as he gloated about being superior, claiming no devil could stand against his holy sword. Oh, seems you're done, he said, raising his sword. Not done, she replied, struggling to stand with her sword as support. Yes, you are. No matter what you do, you'll never defeat me, devil. This sword was made to kill your kind, and that is exactly what I intend to do, Fried said with sadistic glee, swinging down. Time seemed to slow for Yumi, and in that moment, she accepted her fate. Sorry, everyone, she whispered, ready to embrace the end. Setna, a voice called, and she watched as a barrier formed before her. Fried looked furious, glancing behind her. You, Fried growled, and she gasped in shock. The priest Fried thought he had stabbed stood, holding his side but still able to cast magic. He was panting but managed to keep a smile on his face. Are you okay, child? He asked her, and she looked astonished. Why? She demanded. As I said before, we're all children of God, he replied with a pained smile, and Fried mocked him. We're all children of God? What a load of nonsense. How are you not dead? Cheating priest, he sneered. I don't quite know, maybe you're not as good as you thought, the priest said with a smirk, causing Fried to fume. Yumi giggled softly, unable to help herself, and the priest smiled at the sound. Miss Devil, if you would be so kind, create a long sword for me, he requested. Yumi felt a connection to the priest and complied, handing him the sword. Oh, you have a sword now? What are you going to do, priest? I have the rapid piece of Excalibur, and you have just a regular long sword, Fried fumed. And yet you stand there trembling, the priest replied, and Fried roared in anger. Yumi watched as the priest took a swift strike despite his injury. He slashed forward while holding onto Fried's sword hand. Fried jumped back, seething with anger as his chest began to bleed lightly. You little, Fried began, but paused as his phone rang. Hello, he said, picking up while keeping his eyes on the priest. But sir, he added, sounding defeated. Yes, sir, he said, lowering his sword. He glanced at the two. Be thankful I have to go, or you'd be dead. Bye-bye, priest and devil. Next time, you die, he said, throwing a flashbang. Well, that was an eventful night, miss, the priest said, noticing Yumi had passed out. He sighed with a sad smile. Well, if you kill me for this, so be it, he said, picking her up in a fireman's carry. The rain masked what would lead to the second time a holy man and a devil would work together. School came and went, and Issei was worried. Yumi hadn't returned that day, and he feared she was doing something reckless. Not wanting to go to the club room, he headed home. As he approached his door, he noticed 3 hooded figures standing there. He should be here unless he moved, one said. What do we do if he moved? Another asked. We improvise, the leader replied. Excuse me, but are you looking for me? Issei asked, his eyes widening as one turned, and a familiar scent hit his nose. Issei, Ireina said, lowering her hood. She looked at her best friend, taking him in. Ireina? He asked, and they paused, then rushed toward each other, embracing tightly. I missed you, they cried out, happy tears falling. Ah, so it was you, just like I thought, Victor said, and Issei looked up in shock. Victor? He asked. Hello, Issei. We have something to discuss with you. After that, Issei said, she took me around the world to train. Victor sighed in amusement as he was interrupted, while Zenobia looked at Issei in shock. That's great, eh? I'm happy for you. Where is she now? Ireina asked. She had to do something and told me it was best to finish school at a public school. I see, so you were homeschooled? Yup. Man, a lot has happened since I left, huh? Ireina said, slumping slightly. Issei smiled at her joy, and the other two watched the exchange. Why did you train? Zenobia asked, and Issei blushed. She looked at him curiously, and Ireina seemed equally interested. Issei, Ireina prompted. Sigh, I trained because I want to protect you when you came back, Issei mumbled, causing Ireina to blush crimson. And because of this, Issei added, activating the boosted gear. Greetings, people from the church. I am Drake. Drake announced, making everyone jump. Is that? Zenobia started. The boosted gear. Ireina finished with a yell of excitement. Yeah, turns out I'm the wielder of the boosted gear. Oh, and that writing I could read but you couldn't, Issei confirmed, glancing at Ireina. Yeah, she said, glowing with excitement. I'm also half-dragon myself. Cool, right? Issei said with a smirk as Ireina playfully poked and prodded him. Ireina, so bold. Zenobia yelped at the sight of her friend's antics. It's fine, Zenobia, Victor reassured her. Sir, is that? Zenobia began, but Ireina jumped off Issei, blushing bright red, and Issei followed suit. Trust me, it's not what you think. Just two friends goofing around, Victor explained calmly, and Zenobia nodded. I see. I was sure it was something else and was shocked Ireina would be so forward. Do you two plan to share a room tonight? Zenobia asked, just as Ireina clamped her hands over Zenovia's mouth. Zenobia, stop. Ireina whined. I missed you, Ireina. It's good to see you're still the same, Issei said with a smile, realizing Zenobia was just sheltered. Not all the same, she protested, glancing at her body. Issei blushed again. I guess you're not, he said, looking away as Ireina yelped and turned red. Is this what's known as flirting? Zenobia asked. No, they both yelled and Victor chuckled to himself. Oh yes it is. He thought. Ireina, please take a seat with us. I know you wish to catch up, but we're here for a reason, Victor said, and she bowed, sitting next to Zenobia with a blush. So why are you here? Issei asked as he calmed down. We wanted you to let Rias Gremory and Sona Citri know that we wish to speak with them. It'll be one-on-one, and we'll talk to them tomorrow morning after school hours. Also, let them know a representative from the Shinto faction will be joining us. There, we'll explain why we're here. You're welcome to attend one or both, Victor said, and Issei nodded. I will let them know now, Issei said. Very good. We'll be taking our leave then. See you tomorrow, Victor said, getting up, with Ireina and Zenobia following him. Bye, Issei. It was great seeing you again, Ireina said, and he nodded with a smile, hugging her. She hugged back, blushing as she noticed his muscles this time. Bye, Ireina. See you around, he said hopefully, his blush fading as she smiled softly. Definitely, she replied, and Zenobia walked up. Thank you for your hospitality, Issei Haidu, the Red Dragon Emperor. I hope to see you around, Zenobia said, shaking his hand. Likewise, Holy Knight Zenobia, he replied, and she smiled. With that, they left. A few moments later, he spun around in defense as the door slammed open, and Asia, Kenneo, and Hannah rushed in. He sighed as they hugged him, and Rice came in. Issei, are you okay? We sensed holy energies here, Rice asked, and he sighed. At least I can tell her now, he thought. He explained what had happened and calmed the four of them down. Once he was done, Kenneo was in his lap, Asia on his right side hugging his arm, and Hannah on his left hugging his other arm. I see, so the church wishes to discuss something. I don't know what they could want, but we'll be ready, she said. Oh, did Yumi come by today? Issei asked, and Rice's mood dropped. No, she didn't. I'm worried she got herself into trouble, she said, and everyone fell silent. I'm sure she's fine, Rias, Hannah reassured her. As am I. Now I want to know why the Shinto faction is coming, Rice said, pulling out her phone. What do you mean? Issei asked, and all but Hannah turned to him. Wait, you know? Rice asked. Rice, this is Japan, their territory, Hannah said, and Rice paled as if just learning something. Wait, Rice, you informed the Shinto faction you're in their territory, right? Issei asked, and the silence was an answer in itself. Well, tomorrow will be interesting. I hope Yumi is okay. Issei thought with a sigh. The next day, Yumi woke up with a groan, holding her head as a pang of pain shot through it. She sat up and looked around, expecting to see the walls of her modest apartment but becoming concerned when she saw unfamiliar surroundings. The sound of cooking food alerted her further that she was not at home. She lived alone and never really used her kitchen. Summoning a sword, she quietly made her way through the house. She opened the door to see a modern hallway that led to 3 other rooms and then turned right. Following the sound, she went left. She failed to notice the set of eyes following her movements. She crept into the kitchen and saw the priest from before, his back turned to her. Narrowing her eyes, she thought he had captured her and prepared to confront him. "Good to see you're awake, Miss Devil," he said, causing her to falter. He turned to her, raising an eyebrow at the sword she held. Then he smiled, amused at the embarrassment on her face, and returned to cooking. "If you're going to kill me, allow me to make breakfast first so you have the energy to run," he said, and the sword disappeared. Sorry," she stammered, freezing in confusion as she apologized. She then blushed and felt anger again as she noticed her change of clothes. "It is quite all right. Most young ladies would want to take a man's head off if he were the enemy and if he changed their clothes. Though I assure you I am not the kind of priest you think, and your clothes were changed by the one behind you," he said, and she spun around. A short girl, even shorter than Kenneo, with gray hair and brown eyes was glaring at her. She wore a steel-colored yukikata with blue flowers lining it, and on her feet were tennis shoes. The most surprising thing about this girl was the fact that she had 2 large mouse ears and a mouse tail. "Yomi, why don't you introduce us?" the priest said, and she squeaked in anger. "This little girl needs to introduce herself first." "She almost attacked you," Yomi said in a high-pitched voice. "You're a little too small to be calling me little girl," Yumi replied, and Yomi's eyes darkened as she grabbed Yumi's shirt collar, yanking her down with surprising strength. "Listen here, brat, it's Lady Yomi to you, and you should be more respectful to those who help you. I'll be respectful when a mouse doesn't try to boss me around." "Oh, a mouse? I'm so offended. I'm a mouse, not a rat. At least insult me correctly." "Oh wait, that pea-sized brain of yours won't let you," Yomi shot back with a dark smirk. "Says the mouse," Yumi retorted, frowning. Both glared at each other, growling softly. "Now that's enough, you two. This is the first time we and your master are meeting. Do you both wish to strain the relationship and possibly lead your side to war?" the priest scolded, and they both looked down embarrassed. "No, sir," they said in unison. "But to make things easier, I'm David Penta, and that lovely young lady is Lady Yomi Mausu, the next head of the Mausa clan." "And you are?" David asked with a warm and calm smile. "Yumi Kiba," Yumi said, looking down. David's eyes flashed for a moment before returning to normal. "Well, Ms. Kiba, feel free to call me David or Mr. Penta. Breakfast is almost ready. Then we can get you to school and attend our meeting," he said, receiving a nod from her. "You can call me Lady Yomi." "I'll call you Mouse," Yumi replied, and Yomi gained a tick mark. "Then you'll be sword wielder," Yomi added, and Yumi gained a tick mark in response. David cleared his throat, and they stopped, his smile softening as he sighed. "Kids," he mumbled, much to their embarrassment. As they ate, Yumi reflected on what David had said the previous night. He seemed unaffected by the fact that she was a devil and treated her like a normal person. "Oh, hold it," she said. "Yes," he asked. "Why are you being so nice?" "Well, you were in dire need of help the other night. And while you didn't help me right away, you did when it counted. So I don't see any reason to be rude." "But I'm a devil." "Say that louder, why don't you?" Yomi chimed in, and Yumi glared. "So?" he asked. "So?" Yumi yelled in frustration. "You act like that should automatically make me someone you hate. We're natural enemies." "No, we aren't actually." "Huh. Did you know that the church, devils, and fallen all teach a different story than what is true?" "What do you mean?" Yumi asked. "God created all things, right?" "Yes." "So how come you know it as the devils being made by the Satans and the angels and fallen made by God?" "That's because they are." "But we just agreed God created all of them," he said, and Yumi's face flushed slightly. "See, that's what they're teaching because most have forgotten the old way." And what is that? God, as you know, created the angels before man. Among these angels were the archangels, God's right-hand beings. Among these archangels was God's favorite son. You're saying Jesus was an archangel? No, because this was before Jesus, humans, fallen, and even devils. Before devils? She asked, incredulous. Yes. You see, this was when the world was new, and all the gods we know of were shaping it. At this time, God had only his angels, and his favorite son was Samuel. Samuel? An angel you know and like quite a bit. What do you mean? When God made humans and they began to sin, he knew he needed someone to monitor hell. That's when he sent down the only person he felt could handle it, Samuel, who took the name of Lucifer Morningstar, he explained, and she froze. That is a lie. I assure you it is not. He was the original devil and then decided to rule with the first 3 devils he created, Leviathan, Beelzebub, and Asmodeus. They then shaped the world you know today, he finished, and she glared at him. You're telling me that even if you're a devil, God watches over you? In a way. To be a devil, you must have done something very bad, or the devils turned you. Turned devils are watched over the most, so when they die, they can choose to have their soul kept in hell or to come to heaven. So he has watched over me my whole life? Yes. That's ridiculous, she snarled, and David looked at her. If he watched over me, my friends would still be here. He would have kept me from becoming a devil. And he wouldn't allow things like the Holy Sword Project to happen, she fumed, and David looked sad. I know God's ways can seem extreme, trust me. It is part of the reason I am of the Shinto faction. But at the same time, I believe that God has made these things happen for a reason, he said. So my friends deserve to die? She yelled, and David flinched. As she prepared to continue, a slightly blue-covered hand grabbed her shoulder. Watch your tone, girl, Yomi said darkly. You stay out of this, Yumi snapped, flinching as she realized what Yomi was doing. You need to show Mr. Penta respect. He has been nothing but kind to you. He is also a well-regarded person in the Shinto faction, one of the lords and ladies' right-hand men. So watch your tongue and eat your food, or I will teach you respect, Yomi warned, flaring her energy to emphasize her point. Yumi, I am sorry that my words harmed you. Your friends did not deserve to die. But I think there is a reason they did, David said after they finished breakfast. Yumi looked at him, shocked. Come on, I'll take you to my school, she said, and they nodded. As they walked, Yumi thought about what she had learned about God, how he sent his own son to watch over hell. How David, too, had lost some faith, she'd guess, in the church. And yet he still believed in their beliefs while being in another faction. Seems we're here. Thanks, Yumi, David said. For what? She asked, expecting him to just leave after her rudeness. For helping me the other night and for listening to an old man's rambling. I wish you the best of luck and will see you at the meeting, he said. Aye, she tried to respond. You're welcome, and thank you for caring for my injuries, she finally managed to say. I was happy to help. Now you must be off. Your master must be worried, he replied. Why? You've been gone for an entire day. What? Yomi didn't tell you, did she? David sighed, glancing at the smug Yomi. You've been gone for a day, so I stopped by your master to let them know you're okay, he explained, receiving a dazed nod in return. Have a great day at school, Yumi, he said as he left with Yomi. Is that Yumi's dad? A student asked. Yumi rushed to the old school building, a slight blush on her cheeks. She thought back to how David acted and what he said. She hated the church and the holy sword Excalibur with a burning passion, but David made her question whether everyone associated with the church, past or present, was truly bad. Kasai sighed in annoyance as she made her way through the dark streets of Germany. She was supposed to be back in Kyoto, but someone had called her to this place. She had no issues with the country, she just longed for home, having been away for about 2 weeks. Whoever brought me across the world better have good information, she mumbled as she walked on. People turned to her, surprised to see an attractive woman out at this time of night. Many men and some women approached her, attempting to flirt. She flirted back but firmly declined their advances. She had already set her sights on someone and was not going to be tempted elsewhere, even by attractive individuals. Once she reached a door with a sign that read, "The Old Man's Bar." Many of her would-be suitors left her alone, wary of where she was headed. Looking up at the door, she knocked. A keyhole opened and an eye peeked out. "What is it?" a deep male voice asked, and she rolled her eyes. "I'm here to see the broker," she replied, and the man's eye narrowed. The keyhole shut, and she could hear muffled talking from inside. After a moment, the door opened, revealing a tall man with brown hair and brown eyes. He was built like a bodybuilder, and the scars on his arms suggested he had seen combat. "The broker will see you now," he said, and she nodded. "Thank you," she replied as he stepped aside. Once she entered, he shut and locked the door behind her. Inside was a makeshift bar and headquarters, where rough men and women made their home. Many had guns, swords, or other weapons nearby as they drank beer. She nodded to those who looked her way and made her way to the back. In the back was an office of sorts, the nicest room in the building, where an old man sat. He appeared to be in his late 60s and had lost his left eye. His hair was gone, leaving him bald, and his remaining eye was blue. His skin was tanned and marked with scars, some small and others large. He had a beard that reached down to his chest and wore a military-style outfit, complete with an ammo vest, cargo pants, and thick black combat boots. In front of him was a table where he was currently writing something. As if sensing her presence, he looked up and smiled. "Ah, Kasai, my friend. Come in, he said with a thick German accent, and she smiled back. "Long time no see, Gregor," she replied, and he laughed heartily. "Indeed. How is the little dragon doing?" he asked, and she smirked. "Still able to kick your and your mercenaries' backsides," she said, and he smirked in return. "Good. I would be in a foul mood if he wasn't," Gregor said, and they both shared a laugh. "Can I offer you a drink?" he asked. "A beer is fine," she replied, and he nodded. "Anna, 2 beers, he called out, receiving a noise of acknowledgement. 5 minutes later, the two were enjoying the well-made beer. "Ah, we Germans sure know our beer." "That is true," Kasai agreed, and they chatted for a little while. "So, what brought you out here?" Kasai asked, noticing his serious expression. Gregor set aside his beer and clasped his hands together. "Lately, the world has been experiencing strange occurrences, especially in Japan, yes?" "Yeah. And like anyone, you would want to know what's causing this, right?" "Right. I have a contact, not one of my regulars, mind you, but someone who has proven to be quite useful. When they said they had information about these occurrences, I called you quickly," Gregor explained, and she narrowed her eyes. "Is this guy trustworthy?" "Hee, when is anyone? But in this case, the information is good." "Have they ever tried anything?" "No violence, other than when a client was violent back." "Say okay, I'll make some calls and get others here." "Are they going to have an issue with this?" "Not that I know of. Most of the time, they have no issue." "Good," Kasai said, finishing her beer. "Thanks for the drink, Gregor. I'll give the others a call and head out." "Good. I'll send you a text with the location," he said, and she nodded. As Kasai walked back into the main room and out, a woman with red hair and brown eyes watched her. She was built like someone her age, around 16, and wore armor resembling that of ancient Japan. 4 swords were strapped to her back, and 2 daggers hung at her hip. She sipped a whiskey sour and tapped her left ear. "Operation Revenge is a go," she said. Outside, Kasai dialed a number. "Hey, Selena, I might have a lead here," she said. "A quiet village in the rural countryside is where we find ourselves next. It is about the size of a parking lot and holds only 20 houses. In one of these houses, we see a young woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, gently stroking the head of a child who seems to be crying. Victor, dear, you mustn't let others guide your actions. I know those children said hurtful things, but they are untrue, my son," she said softly to young Victor. He looked up with teary eyes and said, "Are really?" She smiled down at him. "Yes, sometimes people say hurtful things to try and get a reaction. Making fun of your ears was one such way." I see," Victor replied, frowning. "Hold no grudges, my child, for the Lord would not want you to. The opinions that matter are those of friends and loved ones. Those who see you differently are not worth your time. I love you, and I know you'll find friends who see you for who you are." He smiled, tears of happiness welling up in his eyes, and buried his face in her chest, hugging her tightly. As he tried to pull back, he found he couldn't. Confused, he struggled harder and said, "Mother, let go, please." Then he froze as a chilling sensation enveloped him. No. His mother's warmth had vanished, replaced by an icy void. "No, no." A menacing roar and cruel laughter echoed in his ears. "No!" he screamed, pulling back. His eyes widened in horror, and he felt a wave of nausea wash over him. There, frozen and lifeless, was his mother, a sad smile on her face. "Mother!" he cried out. Scene break. "Mother!" Victor yelled as he sat up abruptly. He looked around and realized he was in the abandoned church. Holding his head, he experienced a mild panic attack. The haunting image of his mother frozen solid was a familiar torment. Most nights, he was plagued by this vision, one he would never forget, no matter how much time passed. He clenched his fists in anger, recalling that day. It had started like any other. He had tried to play with the village kids, but they shunned him. Seeking solace, he retreated into the forest, where he played with the animals and explored nature. The only change was that girl. He could remember her features vividly: white hair, blue eyes, and a deceptively kind smile that revealed fangs, all framed by her snow-white skin. Dressed in rags, she was the first person, aside from his mother, who had shown him kindness. For the next week, they played together, and she asked him questions about his village. He trusted her and shared everything about his home. But one night, after a month of their friendship, his world erupted in white. A dragon descended upon their village, freezing everyone except him and his mother. As they tried to escape, his mother shielded him from the dragon's attack. He broke free from her embrace, frostbitten and terrified. Seeing his mother in that state left him in shock. The one person who loved him unconditionally was gone. As he came to terms with this, the dragon spoke. Guilt washed over him as his panic attack subsided. He couldn't recall the dragon's words, but he didn't care. The voice of the girl he had played with consumed his thoughts. She was the dragon, the one who had destroyed his mother and village. He felt responsible for providing her with the information she needed. In a surge of rage and guilt, he summoned his holy sword and confronted the dragon. He was quickly defeated and would have perished if not for the angel Gabriel. Since that day, he devoted his life to the church and to finding that dragon. He sought vengeance for his mother and answers for her betrayal. After calming down, he tucked his guilt away, accustomed to doing so. He looked around the church, pleased to see Zenobia and Ireina still asleep. He always worried about disturbing others during his missions. Nodding to himself, he went to the makeshift kitchen and began preparing breakfast. They had a big day ahead. As he worked, Ireina stirred in her sleep, mumbling incoherently and squinting her eyes. She heard a voice in her head, mumbled more, and saw a bright light in the distance. She was dreaming about marrying Issei when this vision interrupted her. It had been recurring since childhood, and she was unsure why. She focused on the light. "What is it?" it said, and she strained to make out the words. After a few moments, she sat up and groaned. Her eyes were slightly strained, but otherwise she felt fine. She turned to see Zenobia waking up. "Morning," she mumbled, lost in thought. Zenobia stretched and yawned, looking at her friend. "Did it happen again?" she asked. "Yeah, I should be used to it by now, considering it's been happening since I was a kid. But it's starting to get annoying, especially interrupting my dream," Ireina pouted. "Oh, what was the dream?" Zenobia asked, and Ireina blushed. "And nothing," she replied quickly, causing Zenobia to tilt her head in confusion. Before she could press further, Victor called out. "Ah, great, you two are awake. Hurry up and get dressed. The sooner we eat, the sooner we can meet with the devils," he said, and they obeyed. Scene break. After dropping off Yumi, David and Yomi made their way through the campus to the student council office. As they walked, Yomi observed the various activities around them. Students were running on the track, some were heading to class early, others were hanging out with friends, and a few were napping. David noticed and smiled. "Interesting, isn't it?" he asked, and she blushed. "And no," she denied, but he smiled softly. "Yomi, we're not in Kyoto, and I'm not a member of the Mouse clan," he said, and she sighed. "Yes, I do find this interesting," she admitted, seeing his encouraging smile. "It's just that all my life, my parents have been preparing me for two things: taking over as the next head and finding a husband. I love them, I truly do, but," she trailed off, "you wish they would allow you to attend public school so you could create your own life experiences, right?" David finished for her, and she nodded sadly. He patted her head, and she looked up at him. "Worry not, Yomi. If things work out, you might just get your wish," he said, and she looked confused. Before she could respond, he glanced up. "It seems we've arrived," he said, looking at the group from the church waiting at the door. They exchanged glances before David smiled calmly. "Hello, I'm David Penta, and this is Yomi Mausu. We're the Shinto faction's representatives," he introduced. "A pleasure to meet you. I'm Victor, and this is Ireina and Zenobia," he said. "Hey there," Ireina and Zenobia replied in unison. Yomi frowned at the absence of last names, while David smiled. "Now that that's settled, are you all ready to enter?" he asked, and they nodded in agreement. As he knocked on the door, Sona glanced at her text message from Rias. A slight unease settled in her stomach as she remembered the Shinto faction. It had faded from her thoughts for a while but had become more prominent lately. They still held power in Japan and were known to be unwelcoming to unexpected visitors. Normally, she was the one who kept track of these matters, but the excitement of claiming her own territory and sharing it with her best friend had caused her to overlook this significant concern. She could only hope the Shinto faction would be understanding. With the knock on her door, she steeled herself. "Come in," she said, watching as 5 people entered. "Hello, Sona Citri. I'm David Penta, and this is Yomi Mausu. We're the representatives of the Shinto faction, and we have much to discuss," David said, and Sona swallowed hard.